ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Always ready.
I won't read out a recording of meetings. Apologies for absence.
Apologies for absence have been received from Councillor Akhtar, Councillor Banut, Councillor Lyon, Councillor Selmy, Councillor Scratton and Councillor Sunder.
A little bit light tonight. Any other absences?
No, Chairman.
And confirmation of the minutes.
Yep.
Any issues?
No.
Everyone happy?
Yep.
So I'll sign them. Yeah.
Yes. Initials on each page and back. Sign and date. Beautiful.
I should really know it, to be honest. There you go.
Thank you.
Cheers. So, confirmation of minutes. First, declarations of interest.
No.
No. Just a list of checks.
Yes, they're on the desk there.
Fine, we'll go through that later. Somebody stay behind and do it with me. And then we're going to now jump to item number 14, section 3.
Christmas tree lighting.
Christmas tree lighting event. Members are advised that the annual Christmas tree lighting event has been scheduled for Friday the 29th of November at 6 p.m. on the Chigwell Station Green. Members are further advised that the preliminary meeting has taken place with potential sponsors for the event. This meeting was attended by the chairman, Councillor Hodds and the clerk. The organisation has supplied a draft design for leaflets and posters towards the promotion of the costs. On there. Members will now receive oral reports on the subject and will be asked to consider and approve the appropriate course of action.
Right, as it says, myself, Councillor Hodds and yourself, we had a meeting with Madison Fox, who have offered to sponsor these flyers for the event. That meeting was some time ago, and after a reminder, they submitted this draft of what they would like the posters and sort of circulars to look like. Bearing in mind, I told them exactly what we wanted. I'm not particularly impressed with the design. They also offered to provide some sort of ideas about promoting the shop window competition. They haven't supplied that, despite a recent reminder earlier this week. I suppose the reason why this is on the agenda, are we happy with that design? Are we still willing to engage with Madison Fox in the promotion of this Christmas tree lighting event?
If I can say, I had Darshan on the phone, going somewhat loopy about not wanting Madison Fox to be the sponsors for the event, and he didn't want it. I said, it's not something you can decide or I can decide, it's got to come before management committee. And he said that they are not trustworthy.
Yeah, he's had that conversation with me,
and he was going to approach Volvo again.
And basically, I said to him, my words to him were, look, I don't know Madison Fox from Adam, only from meeting them at that time. I don't have any issue, don't know any problems with it. But if you want to sort out another sponsor, then I don't have any issue with that. But
the thing is that we didn't have any issue with Volvo. They were very good. We went in, they were very helpful, they were there, they attended.
I don't know if they want to do it again or not.
Again, that's the thing.
Well, this is my concern. The clock is ticking as always, and as far as I know, no approach has been made to Madison Fox to
no,
Volvo this year, so we need to start moving.
Darshan said to me this evening that he's sent an email.
Okay.
I mean, how could you say they're not trustworthy? Have you got any experience?
Well,
you know what it is? It's within his realm of being an estate agent.
No, I think it's a bit.
That's a business matter.
No, not. I think it was more to something they've had issues in Loughton, and apparently because he's the Arla representative for
this is what
thing.
I'm saying. It's to do with that.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's only what he's told me. I've got no idea. I've never dealt with them in the past.
We've got to get something in writing that they're going to sponsor it. They're going to pay for the flyers, and also we need money for the event afterwards in the Victory Hall.
Exactly.
And what are we going to do?
The thing is, my concern is that last year, I personally, as the clerk, didn't really engage with Volvo. It was very much done quite quickly, and as far as I understand, Councillor Sunga again was the lead charge.
I went with him.
And these leaflets basically just appeared from my perspective.
We went as well. I mean,
so
I know you think
I don't have any contacts there, so I'm unable to pursue them.
Yeah, no, we went along and saw.
So I'm relying on.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I think what we need to do, approach perhaps both of these organisations and set the deadline, say look, time has run out and we've got to make a decision within a few days. Can we have your response by return? No?
I think, unless Sue, I don't know whether, have you still got the contacts or the guys there, or do you know the contact?
No.
I don't. At Volvo, any ideas?
I met them. I can't remember what his name was. We could go. We just went in. We could go over there again, but we need to tell Madison Fox that we're,
not interested anymore.
You can't leave them hanging.
You can't leave them hanging and then say
they're leaving you hanging.
Yeah.
So the whole point is.
Oh no,
they've done that.
To be fair, they have said they've got no issue in sponsoring it. They weren't particularly quick, but they've done it.
Yeah.
Whether it's perfect or not, I don't.
It's got a lot of mistakes on it.
Yeah.
And apart from the fact you don't have a poster in black.
Has anybody actually gone and sat with them and gone over all of
They
this?
I did send them an email telling them exactly what we would like on the.
They said leave it to them; they'll put it together.
This is the email I sent to them.
Go over there.
I made quite clear about previous errors that were made. Either they didn't read the email or I have no idea. But
I think they're only over the road, so if somebody goes there or gets them over here and do it and it's done and dusted.
Yeah.
Yes, but I think a decision has to be made. Do we continue with Madison Fox, or do we disengage ourselves from Madison Fox and go?
I think we should, if we approach Volvo, I think if we can keep Madison Fox hanging for a couple of days, if we can't get anything from Volvo, then we have to go with Madison Fox.
Absolutely.
So I don't.
Okay.
I mean, this, first of all, you don't have black.
Yeah.
For a Christmas event, you want colour, you want red, you want bright colours on it. It says the United Christmas Choir, and it's the United.
Huh? You said that you weren't coming. Did I?
My mistake. I thought you were coming.
I haven't said my apologies.
My sincere apologies.
It says the United Christmas Choir, and it's not. It's the United Christian Choir.
Okay, then I just mark it, just change it, and go over and sit there with them.
So
and get it done. Otherwise, you're always going to be waiting. And
but they have a special person that deals with it who isn't in there. Their marketing or wasn't it?
She's email. I don't know. They've got something to do. So can I, Darshan? No, not Darshan. Anthony, sorry.
Kevin.
Will you speak to Darshan in the morning and just say, look, you've got basically the weekend to get Volvo engaged, or by Monday. Otherwise, we're going to have to go back.
We'll just pull it forward.
My understanding is one of the reasons why Councillor Sunga is not here and will not be at the council meeting is because he is in India.
No, he's not. Not yet. Not till Sunday.
Monday.
Monday. We're having a meeting.
Not until Monday. Okay.
Yeah.
And
he's at district now.
Also here it says it's got minced pies.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
So I think we can do without minced pies.
I know.
Yeah.
It's a new delicacy. Hot chocolate and minced pies.
Chairman, what I did notice is that the mistakes made in this recent draft were almost the exact same mistakes made in the Volvo draft. So I think there was a miscommunication within the machinations of Madison Fox that somehow produce something identical but just with their logo on it.
And I was going to say, I think our thing should be centre stage, and they should be.
Yeah.
Yes,
It
that
should
was
be
in the corner.
come and join your parish councillors and Chairman Barry Scrutton or whatever you want to put. When we switch on the lights out there, and then it doesn't.
Can we get the contact who does this? The name of the person, their email address, and then
I
go
think-
direct
yes,
to them.
I have contacts with Madison Fox, but as I've mentioned, I don't have any contacts at Volvo.
Fine. So yeah, I think you've got to put it on Darshan to do it. If he's not happy, I don't think anyone else is particularly happy about.
Just
it.
want the money. Bless you.
Yeah.
I mean, it says here 6 o'clock in the papers. On here, it's got 6:30. I think it should be 6 o'clock, don't you?
Okay.
And then we need £300 for the food and drink, and to do the hall and make it look a bit more lively than we did last year.
Yeah.
Because it was always, the first time of doing it, and you don't know how it's going to go.
Yeah, exactly.
So I would like to make the hall look a bit more.
Yeah, so it's fine.
Choo-choo.
So is that agreed then? So we'll go put it back on Darshan that he's got to approach Volvo or another.
Okay, well tomorrow's the 1st of November, so I'm quite concerned with Councillor Sunger going to be away for...
If he hasn't done it, then we go with Madison Fox. I think we don't really think we have any choice. We can't.
But we actually have to get from them a commitment. They're going to give us the money
Right.
to go and buy all the stuff. Otherwise, where's it coming from?
Well, we can knocking on the door.
And we've got to do it nicely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it.
So if we can reconvene on Monday basically, or Tuesday then, if we say Tuesday, and if there's
Right, so give Councillor Sunger deadline until Tuesday.
well, he's got to the end of close of play Monday,
Close of play Monday, yeah.
and then Tuesday we're in act Madison Fox if not.
Okay.
So at least we can,
because the one that we had.
because you can't leave them hanging otherwise
No.
for much longer.
I mean, that one looks much better, doesn't
yeah.
it?
Oh, that's lovely, that one.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's lovely. This is
That
That's
was
last
last
year's
year.
one with Volvo.
again, that was with the Christmas choir and not the Christian choir. But that was done.
Have you got the
for a
choir
trip.
again this year?
Yeah.
Lovely.
Fine. All right, should we move on from that?
And one other thing, can I just add? We've got the residents of the Leonard Cheshire home coming. They're not going to come on the grass, but they're going to be in there,
Mingle.
and we'll have
Good.
carols going on in there, so they can join in with that as well.
Lovely.
And sure, you going to say about the Christmas shop?
Yes. I think it would be prudent to sort of follow on to this event. As I've said, the Christmas shop window competition has taken place every year.
Yeah.
Since and it's been something that's been leading the charge on that has been Councillor Sandler. However, I think all the times I've been involved in it, there's never been more than 4 contestants. And I think I told you the story of when someone approached me at Grange Hill quite aggressively, claiming, and there seems to be this belief that the competition is fixed, and so on and so forth.
You don't even win anything, do you?
No.
Well, anyway,
Just the kudos.
the judges have always been councillors, well, usually members of the Environment Committee. And I did sort of discuss this with Madison Fox at the time, and if they could come with some suggestions of spicing up the competition. They haven't come back, despite a couple of reminders. But I think it might be a good idea to have guest judges or something like that outside of the council, and maybe some sort of prize.
I think that'd be really good because I think more people would get involved then.
Yes, and then it would take away that perception that it's staged.
I suppose we could have a couple of nominated councillors and then a couple of nominated others.
Something rather even.
Right, so
we could have someone.
What does this decide?
Someone from Grange Hill, someone from Chigwell.
Yeah.
So you've got.
I know that merely an allegation. I've always been a judge.
Yes.
For many years, but everybody looked at it and expressed their own opinion, and we had chalked out on what grounds we should be looking at. There were 3 or 4 columns.
People get so competitive.
No,
and then
Is it just the parade or is it
No.
anywhere
No,
else?
it's Grange
Grange
Hill,
Hill.
anywhere in Chigwell, so
Yeah.
you could have a Chigwell Row or Chigwell, Grange
Just to
Hill.
explain, letters, I have a list of all businesses in Chigwell, and letters advising them of the competition,
Okay.
and then I get responses back.
And the
There have
incentive?
never been more than 4.
And what exactly is the incentive?
Nothing.
The
No,
incentive
no.
is having a trophy for a year and a certificate.
You've got to do that.
So
A suggestion, why not include residents' houses as well? Has it just got to be...
Because then we'd have to go around every single house.
Well,
I don't think you get
Well,
that
only
many
in those-
that make that much... We all know who did it, but they do make a big effort. There's
Yeah.
not many other shops
yeah,
that make the same amount of effort as the pharmacy do. I'm assuming they're the winners every year.
and the florist, I think, the pharmacy.
Very good
florist.
assumption.
But even so, they're just putting nice things in the window,
Well,
aren't
they're
they?
basically
Same
just
thing
trying
every
to
year.
get to come in every year
Yeah.
and do it. That is the downside of
Yeah.
it, is they are just
And it's the
paying
same thing every year with
And
it,
it is the
really.
same thing every
But
year.
they were beaten, I think, in 2014 by Book Buds. And I never heard the end of it. That's when I was threatened with one of these
Sorry, because
second
I'm
tunes.
quite new to this procedure. When is it announced who the winners are? Is it on the day we put the Christmas lights on?
No,
or-
it's announced after the Christmas
After
period.
the
So
Christmas
what's traditionally happens is I go and tell them that they're the winners, and then I arrange with them to have a picture with the trophy and the certificate with the chairman,
And that gets circulated how?
and that is put on the website.
Okay, so in the local community, who gets to know about it other than people that look?
No, that's the thing.
Well, that's
Well,
something we're going
prior-
to come on to.
Well,
Yeah.
when we had the newsletter,
could
it
go
did
in the
also
paper.
feature in the newsletter, but now it just
So
appears on the
do
Why can't we
website.
have it in the
residents ever- Is it
press?
ever opened out to residents to choose which is the best?
Well, this was one of my, because there is this perception that it's staged or fixed because the same people win it every year, and the same people win it every year because they hire a professional to do their shop window. Although I think they don't anymore.
Yeah,
I
we've
must
changed
say,
that.
I found it always the best of the lot.
Yeah.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
One at Grange Hill did very well last
Well,
year.
I
think
I
if
voted
you
for
have
them.
If you were
somebody
to
well
open it up
known.
to the local community, it probably would make it more competitive.
The problem is, though, at the moment, I think that's something what we should do in the future, but where our communication is pretty poor. If we had like a Facebook page, we could do it quite easily on that. Or if we even had like, I don't know, like I know Pranav was talking about WhatsApp groups and things like that. Not that we're going to do one for a parish, but it's just better ways of being able to communicate with everyone. Otherwise,
We could
how are we
But
going
you
to?
could also
it could
get
go
the
to
shops
local-
themselves to incentivise it because obviously local residents go to the shops,
Yeah.
don't
They could go to the local paper and they can get it in there.
Well, that's the one thing, and also to
And that
get
way
rid of
gives-
somebody well known around here that they can have a picture taken with, or go and choose, or whoever they
It
decide.
needs to
Um,
be.
Sorry,
Would,
Chairman,
Vicky-
just to add, a
Vicky
press
Michelle.
release and the photograph is sent to the newspaper
So
every year.
Vicky Michelle came out, didn't she, against the library closure? I mean, I know she's not
Current.
current.
Vicky Michelle, hello,
Renee.
from hello, hello.
Hello,
Before you know
hello.
how before your time.
Really, I
We're-
don't
we're-
remember her.
We're not
Oh,
exactly
Vicky Michelle.
awash with celebrities, apart
No.
from those that think they are in their
Yeah.
own lunchtime. But
So what? So are we deciding on whether we're going ahead with this?
Can
or-
I make a suggestion?
Go ahead.
Can I suggest we invite as guest judges the chairman of the Limes Farm Community Association and the Chigwell Residents Association,
yeah,
I think so.
in addition to
the Limes
Yeah,
Farm
to make it
shops, do
more
they go
objective.
into it?
Yeah, they represent
Pardon?
The shops on
community.
Limes Farm.
You know, yeah. Well, should
yes,
we,
but they've never sent in an entry. You have to enter.
Yeah.
You see.
so fine. I'm happy with that. If
Yeah,
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 that's
yeah,
fine.
that's a good idea. Yeah.
fine, keep it. Well, we can invite them.
So can I just get, so the shops actually have to enter, it's not
Yeah.
a matter of
Well-
Yes.
going around going, oh, that's good. Well, surely if it was just a matter of the judges looking at going to the shops and looking at all the shops in the area, you would get
It's not a bad
because if
idea
only half
actually.
a dozen shops enter, how many shops enter?
Oh, there's your
It's
view.
never been more since I've been doing it. It's never been more than 4.
I
But
think,
you-
I
That's
think
it.
the question is how
Last
many
year I think it
shops-
was 3. Year before that it was 3.
Yeah,
Year
how
before
many
that it
and
was
they
3.
fight.
is the letter sent out to?
Everyone.
Or everyone.
No, but how many shops are there?
At a guess, I would say 70 odd.
70 shops.
That
and only
many?
four-
Well,
four-
another side note to this: the solicitors on Grange Hill, I forgot what they're called now.
Taylors.
So it was
Taylors.
They've moved. haven't
They
now,
enter every year without fail.
Mm.
And every year we go to the shop window and there's not so much
Yeah.
as a
There's
drop
nothing.
of glitter in there. So
They
it's
don't do a
quite
thing.
and then they're doing that religiously. They're always the first person
Do
to
you
enter.
send the criteria with it?
I send everything.
Okay.
And every time I go there, I usually see the lady looking there grinning. and that is basically a Christmas window.
And you take
every
a picture.
year since 2011.
But I think what
Well done. It's like
Selena has said is a
Right.
very good idea.
Which what is that?
That we go around, the judges go around to all the shops and they make a choice from that. Without
we
letting
do.
them know,
But they
give
do.
them a
That's what we do.
They don't have to
enter.
don't
without
have to
them
enter.
officially
The
having to
problem
respond.
seems to
Without
be
having
that
to
nobody's
enter.
actually entering, not that they're
They
not
don't want
doing any
to.
Christmas decor.
No, but they might
lose
still.
a piece of paper, or they don't. You know,
Or they just don't
it's-
respond.
No,
They
so
haven't got
I
time.
went round to them all last year and said, "Why haven't you done that?" And they just went, "We've got more things to do than
But if
It's the
they-
busiest,
Yeah,
the busiest
so-
period at Christmas, so take
I
that
know.
off.
So if
But
we
that's
went
just-
round,
They
Right,
go
right,
round,
right.
no, they had no incentive.
But they
But-
can decorate the shops anyway.
But that's what I was going to
Not
say.
really,
If
no.
the shops are probably decorated anyway, they just
Yeah.
haven't actually officially entered.
Yeah.
yeah.
But if as Selena said, we go round and say, well, that actually looks really
The
good.
Chinese shop has its like little Christmas tree in and everything. And I said to him, "Why aren't you entering?" And he said, he goes, "What am I entering?" And I said, "What do we get?" And that's the whole thing. Is I think we say, "What do we,
Publicity.
what do
Yeah.
we get?"
All right,
No,
fine.
they
So
don't
I
really
think
do.
we're happy. We'll
Yeah.
still send the letters out. We'll have the guest judges, and they won't need to officially enter. We will do a little recce round
How can
Chigwell.
you assess if they haven't entered?
Well, no, we'll go round, and if they've got decorations
We
in the
like all
shop,
the shops, then,
Yeah,
then
and-
we'll build a list up between
Yeah.
us.
No one's gonna say they don't want the prize if they're
Yeah,
awarded
you've
it.
now-
We've got to have a prize. We've got to have something now.
yeah, we're
Oh, go away, wherever you are.
fine. All right, is that okay?
Yeah,
I
that's
think
fine.
there's no
However, I'll
incentive.
just to conclude, I don't think entering all the shops by default
Well, no, but they're not.
will alter the outcome.
No, but then more would have done it. They just may have not actually
Well-
entered the competition as such.
Yeah, we
And
may
the thing
find
is,
shops
if you
that
have
are good.
a first, second, and third,
Yeah.
at least people, we can go and have a look round Limestone,
Yeah.
see what's on there, have a look,
Yeah.
and you might actually get a first, second, or third that maybe is not one of the four that enter
Yeah.
Yeah.
every year.
Yeah, at
And
least
we
it
should do
makes-
it for any
Okay.
business, maybe,
Yeah.
in the
It doesn't
area.
have to be a shop.
And just
It doesn't
yeah.
have to be a shop.
Well,
We
we
So
just do it for any
when
business.
you obviously
and
need to
that
get the
as
letter
well.
out.
If
for
we
the
can see
sharpies.
through their windows and then
Yes,
we'll put something in it.
All right. Let's,
Now, the competition, the actual judging, normally takes place on the first week of December, usually the Friday. So that would be Friday the 6th of December.
do we not do it? Is that not a bit early? Or
No.
Well, I'm just saying what usually happens.
should we not do it like
Second week.
the
Right.
second
Like
week? So some.
Friday
they
the
might-
13th. Well, that's
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
It's lucky for Jews.
So
I got married on the 13th. My
Uh,
wife's never forgiven me.
right. 13th
Is
of December, 6 p.m.
Are we
that on a Friday?
Yes, it is.
on Thursday?
Right,
I think on the second.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
bear in mind the
Well, that's-
problems on some of those judging and previous evenings when you've done it in the evening like that is lots of the shops with
Yeah.
all their shutters down.
Yeah.
You can't see
Yeah.
anything.
You need to
Yeah.
do it during the
During
day.
the day. I would say Friday afternoon.
It's got it, because I went out one year and we couldn't see
Go on,
anything.
Selena.
Can I make a suggestion that everybody, the shops will be starting to get their decorations in by mid-November.
Yeah.
Everybody that is judging spends some time looking around Chigwell and spending some
Yeah.
time, and then everybody comes together, whether it's via email or with some suggestions of different shops, and you draw up a short list or
Yeah.
these
no, I
are the
think
particularly good ones, and you then spend, and not quite right, they're all going to be shut in the evening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to have to spend a Saturday afternoon or
Yeah.
just going round a dozen shops saying
Yeah, that's the
they're,
best one.
they're, the-
Of course.
they're the ones that are good.
Go on, man.
A suggestion,
Good.
maybe possibly for next year instead of this year, but since you get everyone together on the switching on of the Christmas lights, it would be an opportune time to invite all the shop owners to
Yeah.
come
Oh,
as
we
a
do.
mini
We do.
We
local
do.
networking opportunity and announce the winner
Yeah.
when everyone's in one room.
Yeah. No.
Or announce the competition because winners won't be there.
I think that's one to post for next year, being
We could announce the competition.
And
in-
announce the
yeah.
competition.
You can announce it on
Watch
the day,
out.
on the
If you don't
30th,
get
whenever
Yeah,
it
it's
is.
a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, good idea.
Watch out, there's a judge about.
Fine. So yeah, just to recap, we will, if we do, we don't necessarily need to all go round, but as Celine said, all early December, we'll do a drive around.
Take some pictures.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pick out your best ones or your best 3, which I'm imagining by the sounds of it,
Mine
it's
is
going to be
in the
quite
box.
obvious. And so if you could send out a list of all the locations so everyone's aware. So I'm assuming Limes Farm, I'm
Chigwell
assuming
Road.
Chigwell Road. Does
Well,
it go?
I have a list of shops, a list of addresses, and I usually send out
Yeah, but to the judges as such, if we're going to do
to
it.
the judges.
Yeah. So we know.
Just make sure we're all getting all the right,
Yeah.
getting all the shopping, you know,
Yeah.
we're not
The
missing
right
a shopping
parades.
parade.
So like, I don't know, I'm assuming like the guys, I don't even know whether they do it, but down by the Italian by near where I am, made what was made in Italy.
Yeah.
They're still within it. They do a little Christmas display.
Is that Woodford Bridge?
No, it's still in Chigwell.
No, down
What,
West
the,
Hatch.
Oh, one
By
by
opposite
West
West
Hatch.
Hatch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think
That's
we
quite
should
nice,
be
isn't it?
including the restaurants and the
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
and they always do a little Christmas display, but I don't. You probably wouldn't necessarily think that was
You've got a
a
sheet.
parade.
They may put do something outside or what have you, or it's whoever as a business,
Yeah.
maybe.
It's got nice decorations.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it then gives a little bit of
It's
publicity.
maybe it's to do.
You're looking bemused.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
No, what are your thoughts,
What?
Anthony?
It's just that there's no framework around it.
My thoughts are that the thing is that what I wanted to get from this is encouragement to the business owners themselves
Yeah.
to enter the competition.
Yeah.
But I think
And at the moment, you're using the same ideas to try and include them, but we've got to give an incentive. We've got to give an incentive. That's
That's what
basically.
we're saying.
Is
It's
it,
not
do you
it's
think
a-
it is it's unfeasible to organise like an awards announcement
well, no, I think you can suggest the winner.
at Victory Hall or something?
Well, I don't think we get that, but
I don't know. Recycling bags for a year, I don't know. But there's got to be an incentive in there.
There has
That's-
to be.
Well, I think
Because
we.
that's what we're
Have
saying.
they
We
not
went around,
used
they don't
that?
want it.
On their website and stuff, winner of the
Yeah.
Can we
Yeah,
not?
Well, they can,
Yeah.
but they don't.
as a quality mark.
Quick question.
Sorry, go on.
What about the Chigwell buses? Can we say they get a bit free advertising on the buses as an incentive?
Well, who's going to pay
No,
for that?
that's an idea.
They themselves.
But yeah, how that's the only thing is on that. Yes, is a good idea. How are we going to do that? You know.
Do it inside the bus. Just put a little poster up.
It's not enough people who use it.
It's incentive.
It's free advertising.
It's
You
still
can
free.
decline that.
There's still.
So who? What, school kids in the morning and in the afternoon?
We don't know who wins it. Who depends who wins it. There might be.
I think this year, if we do it the way we've just said, people will see, oh look, it was a surprise, so and so won it. Then next year maybe they will become more involved in it and be more willing.
And it links into the rest of our like the communication strategy where we're talking about improving that to then make it publicise it
Yeah.
more. The only way it's ever going to do it is if they're publicising, if we do get it into the local paper or whatever.
I have tried, believe me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But not
and he
interested.
has.
Let's go
He
back.
has,
Have we
because
got any-
but things that nobody's even had except for Anthony. That when I went back round, they all said there was no incentive.
Yeah.
Well, no,
So this
but
is the
that's
whole
fine.
point.
But we
It's like, what can we
It's
give?
the publicity.
You know.
well, we can get a donation of I don't know, a bottle of champagne or something like that.
But are we going to have a newsletter?
No, I don't think we are. I think we were moving away from having a newsletter and how. Well, this is again something to discuss
There
a
is
bit
the
further down.
Everything Epping Forest. I
Yeah.
get that on Facebook.
Yeah.
You could put it in that.
Yeah,
I don't know if
David
you've ever
Jackman. Do you
communicated.
normally send it to him as well?
I have in the past. I didn't send it last year, but
He's normally looking for anything to put in.
You know, we can just try and give them publicity and say that's what you're going to get.
All right,
Yeah.
fine. I want to kind of move on because we've got quite a lot to
Yes, we
deal
do.
with. So we've got our actions. We'll go down that route, see how it plays out, and then
guest judges, I think, is
Yeah.
definitely
And a celeb, if anyone's got one up their
Yeah.
sleeve.
well.
And it shouldn't.
He doesn't do anything. He won't do anything,
No.
unfortunately.
Can't imagine him judging the Christmas.
I tried to grab him when he was on his bike once.
That's probably why I won't do anything now. I think that the best we're probably going to get is the one that is like Jess Wright or someone like that.
Right.
From
Shall we move on?
Unways,
Right.
who lives over across the road. We're going back to terms of reference. Now, this has evolved from a few meetings. Members are reminded that the terms of reference define the purpose and structures of the committee. They provide a regularised basis for making future decisions and for developing an understanding of the scope of the committee. The creation of a comprehensive definition is critical because they describe the following: vision, objectives, scope and deliverables, roles and responsibilities, resource, financial and preparations, work breakdown structures, timetable, plan of action. Members are further reminded that the matter was deferred from a previous meeting on 25th of July. At the meeting held on the 29th of August, it was resolved that an initial draft would be done by the clerk and the chairman to be considered at this meeting. Further, it was resolved to replace the following committees listed out there to encompass all within this management committee. In a view of the aforementioned resolutions, members are now required to consider and approve the first draft, or if you have any further comments. So that's Appendix 1.
Can I say that I do think that we should have a separate personnel committee. I don't think it should be all in one.
We have, haven't we?
Have we?
Didn't we set up, as part of the audits, we had to have a...
We did, yes, you're absolutely right, Chairman. We did set up a personnel subcommittee.
So that's if there's any issues, I understand. I think it was...
However, I think at that, I can't remember now, but we did set up, I can't remember exactly who the members are. I do know that Councillor Lyon was one of the members.
I think it was me, Councillor Lyon, and maybe Dash.
Possibly.
But that's for if anything arises, if there is any personnel issues.
Yeah.
In terms of personnel committee in general, I think it was kind of, the view was, well, the HR company are taking on most of those issues and they should be able to deal with that, and then we can...
Okay, but who's dealing with them? Because all I know is that you are the only contact with them. When I've contacted them, when Alan's contacted them, they won't speak with us.
Well, no,
that's you are the contact.
No, that's now evolved, and I think Anson's now arranged a meeting for the councillors.
Obviously, Councillor Barlow has had conversations with Councillor Lyon. Now, I will come to that aspect of the business of this committee.
No, because I contacted him initially because I called them, and they said
Oh,
that.
did you?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So then I spoke to Alan, and he went, "Oh, funny you should say that." He said because I have something similar, and they won't speak to me.
Right.
All right. Anyway, we'll cover that in a minute.
Yes.
Because because we're coming on to the HR company. There's some bits to cover on that. Focus on the terms of reference. Now, on here, Anthony's put down some suggestions for within this committee.
Sorry, Chairman. Before we come to page 2, if I could ask members to refer to page 1, there's some membership matter questions that I'd like members to consider.
So, are there restrictions on the number of members? What, for this committee?
Yes, just to advise members, if it so determines, you can have members on this committee who are not council members.
Well,
or subcommittees, should you prefer, because I know that was something that was suggested or explored with the communications committee, which has now been
can we not have it
into this committee?
Can we not have it as required on the...
However, at the communications committee meeting that I think was supposed to happen in April, it was declared inquorate, which was quite embarrassing because the invited members of the public did in fact attend. Yeah.
I think, hence why we then, Barry wanted it, Chairman wanted it changed to, so everyone was a member of the management committee and encompassed to make sure we always had enough people to deal with these committees. In my opinion, depending on the issues or the subjects, we should invite people along, so keep it open. So in terms of everyone is still a member, councillor wise, and then depending on the subject, i.e. if it is communications, we can invite members of the public to join and add.
Well, yes, but that's fine. But the thing is, the question's being asked here: are we willing, or does this committee see fit to include members of the public who have specific roles in the public sphere into the committee?
And that's what we were asking before.
But yeah,
that's the question
I think
that's
it's
being asked
important
now.
to include.
But not on the whole of the management committee. What I'm saying is depending on the subject, i.e. communications.
But that needs to be defined. If that's the way the
That's my opinion. I don't think that.
Because we have to involve people for our covers.
Yeah.
We have to, we cannot just take on people for here's the namesake, oh look, we have a member of public here.
Yeah.
So let's define what roles
Well,
are there,
well, the thing
and
is,
then
I think
define
what-
which
Yes.
role do we want people in.
I think what the committee might be concerned about is that a member of the public might have some sort of voting right. Again, this committee can determine whether or not that is the case.
Well, no, it's
but it
just,
can still include that member of the public
no,
into the committee.
No, it's just I don't think it's necessary for all subjects for the public to necessarily be involved in.
Okay, that's well.
Sorry, Selena, was your.
Just
Sorry,
to sort of
Mary.
run through what the actual legal side of it is, members of the public can be invited to be members of any committee or subcommittee. They can have rights to vote and are allowed rights to. The only thing that members of the public are not allowed to do is vote on matters that involve spending money. So apart from that, what would normally happen is you would have members of the public who are regular, permanent members of the committee. Their only restriction is they are not allowed to vote to spend money, and that's under the Transparency of Government Act 2015. I need to pull out the paperwork, I haven't got it with me, but that's the situation. So I think that's what you're being asked.
And that's what we went over last time.
Permanent members of the public sitting, but as I say, they have limited voting rights under the law on authorising spending.
But then that's where I think it falls down with having a one encompassing committee. So I don't think it should be members of the public on all subjects. I think there's certain areas where, like I've got communication.
Has there
Sorry.
been any interest from members of the public to join the management
There
committee?
was
In
initially.
the time that it has been running?
Not as
No.
a management committee, as
Any
subcommittee.
committee has
Yes,
there been any
and
interest
that's
from
what we're
members
trying
of
to
the
tell
public?
you. So what happened before is that we had different committees. We had a communications committee, and what we decided was that we were going to, and we put it out. So we spoke to CRA, we spoke to Limes Farm Residents Association. So yeah, there were people that were very interested in coming on board.
And did anyone come?
We haven't started it.
No, they did.
Sorry,
they did.
that's not entirely accurate.
They did come. Like
The communications committee did decide to invite members of the public. As has been mentioned, I think the chairman of the CRA, yourself, was invited. The chairman of the Limes Farm Residents Association was also invited.
me and Kate,
Also, the chairman of the Neighbourhood Watch,
Savage.
and a couple other organisations. I think
Some
out of the
didn't.
5 people that were invited, 3 of them did attend the meeting,
Right.
but the meeting was declared incorrect.
Yeah.
And then
We can
shortly
attend.
after that, the communications committee was declared defunct, and the management committee became
Right.
replaced it.
And-
So that's basically where we are.
Got it.
And likewise, there was when the bus originally started, there was a bus, whatever it was called, working group or something like that.
Yes, there was. Yes.
Which we attended. Well, again, I think Jackie, me, and Janet attended when it first started, and we were waiting for the second one, and it never happened. I think.
The thing is, I think if
That was
an
really
interest has to be expressed,
I agree.
an invitation has to be.
I agree.
You see,
Can
so-
we not have it? I would propose that we have it that when certain things are on the agenda, we can invite members of the public to join the meeting. So whether that be the bus, the communications,
No.
why?
I just don't think it's going to work that way. I mean, the whole point before was that we had, say for example, like the chair of the CRA, blah blah blah, people of interest groups that would come and they would represent that part of the community. And so, of course, all of these.
But I just don't think it's relevant for all of the subjects, and the problem is.
Could we not have it alternate? So,
Continuation.
what the one meeting you have everything to be discussed, but not include anything involving spending, and then the second meeting
Doesn't always
to
work that
only
way.
include spending.
I mean, the thing is, you've got the bus service, neighbourhood plan, communications. Okay, personnel. I totally understand with that one.
Well, yeah, that's the...
Yeah, so you've got the environment, bus service, neighbourhood plan, communications, but not personnel. So I don't see why the public can't.
But-
Neighbourhood plan definitely.
Sorry, just to sort of expand, the purpose of getting, and this was started with the Transparency Act. It's a national government act to improve transparency and accountability within local government. And it was this act that proposed and allowed members of non-councillors to sit on committees, not as invited guests, but as members of that committee.
So they came
So
regularly.
they come to every meeting. They are there because, of course, personnel matters are public matters as well. They are discussed publicly. It's only very limited aspects of personnel that can't be discussed publicly because personnel as a public is a spend of public money again. So therefore, the accountability has to be there. If there is a disciplinary issue, for example, the public are excluded. But just for general personnel matters, that is not considered an excluded matter. Now, what the local government Transparency Act said was that members of the public, non-councillors, could sit on the committee. The only restrictions are that they are not allowed to vote on spending money. Obviously, they can discuss because it is public money that you are spending. And this is the whole thing. It is encouraging members of the public to be involved in the discussion.
Which is what we wanted.
So
Yeah.
I think
that
that
time.
the issue there is, like someone, I don't know who mentioned it, is consistency. The same person needs to be coming to every meeting.
Yes,
Otherwise,
absolutely.
there's not the right dissemination of information.
Which is why Anthony gave the invitation to, the CRA, the Limes Farm Residents Association, and any other kind of association that was representative of those in Chigwell.
So those are the. So are we restricting it to who can come then?
Well, we've got to decide whether we're going to have the involvement.
I mean, I would like the involvement. I think it's really
But
important.
I'm not comfortable with on all subjects, I don't think.
No, I don't feel comfortable as well. I'd like to see where in the country is happening.
Doesn't matter where in the country.
No.
In fact, it's a legal
Because,
thing. And it's important.
I don't think it will work satisfactorily. You can try it, but then, if you want to try it for a year or 6 months only.
Why don't you think it will? Tell me why you don't think it will.
More people involved, your community. Now everybody want to come here.
And the point is, and my point is, as councillors, we're meant to represent the community. So,
Second question. So these meetings, management meetings, minutes are placed on the website, correct?
yeah.
Yes.
Which are visible to all.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And meetings are open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So could we not have a follow-up meeting to the management that involves the local residents?
Well, we don't have the time for it. That's the issue.
It's too many there.
And it's too many meetings.
I think the whole ethos is to get people involved in
Exactly.
decision-making process and enabling them for leadership. So it's a kind of a
Not even that. I
So
don't
with
think.
that,
It's the fact that
we have to define the purpose.
Well, fine. So,
I think we're not concluded on this.
well,
We don't know till we put a
the
vote.
problem is, and I think I had no problem with it where we had the subcommittees, but where I think it's one encompassing committee that covers all areas, I'm personally just not comfortable with
what are you comfortable with? Tell me what makes you uncomfortable.
just having members of the public necessarily involved in all of it all the time.
Are
Where,
you talking about the committee business and complaints?
well, not even
not
that. It's certain areas where we want input, but in essence, we're meant to be representing them anyway.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean to say they haven't got a vote on anything. We can still.
No, they are. They
Well,
would
I
rather
think
they
as
are.
long as we have picked people who we feel are representative and they want to do it, then I don't think there'd be a problem. But it can't be too wide-ranging and too many people coming in because it will just go around in circles. But if you have 2 or 3 people from representing large areas of the community, I think it could be a positive thing.
Absolutely, and I agree with you. I
I've
think
not
it's-
seen it happening even at the district. So,
It doesn't mean to say it shouldn't
Can I
happen.
suggest we defer
I'm
this?
not saying it shouldn't happen, but
I
it
have
won't
one final
happen.
Go on,
suggestion
Mona.
to this. I suggest that
I
if
disagree.
it really is something that certain members of the parish council feel strongly about, we could try it out for 3 meetings. If there's no consistency in who comes, then we stitch it.
You can't do it, can you?
No.
No.
But what's the measure?
Because the thing is
Yeah.
that.
Oh, we have to set a measure.
Yeah, but we don't
to
always
try
turn
it.
up at every meeting
Yeah,
either.
precisely.
So it's a
It's
case
a
of,
success measure.
you know, and
If it's
also that
prominent-
we've, in the last couple of years, we've always had representatives here from the CRA or Life
Yeah.
Farm. I mean, okay, on and off with Kay, but always with the CRA.
But but I'm not got. I have no issue in having the involvement of the CRA, but I think we should be, you know, and there's obviously questions and that's fine and we deal with that. But I just think
Can we bring it up to the next? Can we bring it forward to the next meeting so we've got more?
I'm happy to
members
take
here.
more.
I agree.
Defer.
But he
Yeah.
said he
Go
has
to
to be
full
agreed this
council.
time round.
Well,
I think the minutes said must be agreed this meeting.
But there's not enough people
The
here.
requirement said must be the
I'd like the
terms
others
of
here
reference
as
must be
well,
agreed this
actually.
meeting.
I agree with that.
Well, we can agree
So not
all
agree.
of it except that bit.
Agree to
If the
disagree.
does anyone have any particular issues on the responsibilities? That was only been.
Yeah, I'd
I'm
put
fine
down
with
as neighbour. Who chose those?
I think we
Your
all
clerk.
of us
Because
discussed
you're only because you're
It's really
chair
weird.
of planning, and to be honest, there's no decision where we're moving that forward. It's just your name by
Exactly,
it. Just,
and then it's like I'm not doing anything else. I mean, I'd like to have been on personnel because that's where I started with it all and did all the research
No
and
issue
stuff
with
on
that.
it.
Well, let's go around the table and see. Marion, have you got any specific items you'd like to be involved in?
I'm happy with that. I've got things.
Oh,
Gil?
I got it right.
I'm happy.
I'll stay with one, I think I'm happy.
Michelle, you happy?
I'm happy. Excuse me,
Fine.
everyone.
See you later.
Fine. And I think Alan also wants to be on personnel, which is fine.
Yes, clearly.
Something in the background there.
Yeah.
Um, Fine. Let's move on.
Just to remind, highlight the expenditure there. It's basically in line with what exists in terms of spending by this committee. It have to go to council first if it's obviously a certain amount.
The way was it not the way we're working it? We decide something here, goes to finance and then goes to full council.
Yes, but sometimes finance have already made the budgetary allocations before it's come to this committee. In certain instances.
Fine. Victory Hall lease. Do you want to give
Right.
an update?
The update basically is that they have now received that approved lease along with the deed of surrender, the schedule of conditions, with accompanying photographs which I took myself and a map of the property. They've acknowledged receipt of that and said it's with their solicitors. That email was received on the 24th of October. I haven't heard anything since then.
They sent an email straight back, didn't they? They sent
Almost straight back. Yes, they did. Straight back actually, same day. But I expect it will be with their solicitors for at least 3, possibly 4 weeks before we get any sort of response.
Fine. And I'm assuming no update on trustees or.
No.
But that's
Not further to that email they sent probably about a month ago. I'm pretty certain I copied you in.
Chris about that, and he said that there's a few of them that got to go. They've got another 2 trustees or something.
fine. Well, it was,
So
just to remind
That's
everyone
them.
else, one of our conditions to granting a new lease is that they get more trustees involved because that was the problem previously.
That's
And I think we suggested,
Charities Act then.
yeah, I think we suggested a minimum of 5, so they've got cover and can manage it.
can I ask, in the lease, does it say about us checking, it having like regular checks? Because that's the one thing that we
Yeah.
kind of didn't do before, and it fell.
Seems
And they have
2
to
per year,
actually
wasn't
hit it.
There is a
It says
schedule
here-
of conditions. The lease was considered by this council 3 times and was finally approved.
yeah, I think there is regular checks and they have to keep it up to scratch and
So just
certain
to
standards.
emphasise,
Yeah.
the time for discussing the lease
Yeah.
is over.
Okay, I'm just asking a question.
Which is very fun.
I'm allowed to ask.
Fine. Number 9, improvements to the parish council website,
Right.
which
Yeah.
Well, Mona's coming to her own here.
Hopefully.
And I don't know, are you going to pick up on some of Prano's suggestions from his email yesterday?
I was going to do that. I'll give that to you. That's the email.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. Are we able to?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It's just warming up.
So I think the general, encompassing the website is also encompassing our communication strategy, because at the moment we're terrible in terms of how we're communicating with the public, and essentially we're using our notice boards and our very average website, not looking at me particularly.
Yeah, don't, because I got told off when I said the website when we were doing the communications wasn't good.
Sorry.
But you remember you were like, oh, that's different.
No, I took photographs, most of them.
Here he comes.
So just a bit
Go
of
on.
background, my research behind this, I did look at a lot of other parish council websites. I looked at Redbridge, I looked at, does Lambton have one?
Yeah,
Mostly I used Buckhurst Hill as my reference point, simply because it was the most modern out of all of them, the way it was presented. And I quite liked, I think there was in some areas it was quite busy. There was a lot of repetitive information, but I think there's some take-home messages from that, which hopefully I'll be able to summarise in this quick analysis that should give us some ideas of what we can do. Do we have Google Analytics on it at all?
Sorry?
Google Analytics. Is it?
Analytics.
Yeah. You know what Google Analytics is? Do you know what
No, I
it is?
don't.
Okay.
Tells you how
So
many people are using it.
you can, I think, it is free, but you need your web developer to put some code in at the back of the website. But you use it as a tool to look at the traffic. So you look at what the most frequently visited pages are, what the entry points, what the exit points are. Then you get a gauge on what interests people,
Yeah.
what channels you need to promote, how you need to promote them.
Who did our website? Do you know?
It's a company
Vision ICT.
based in Cornwall.
Cornwall.
Mm.
How do we find them? Just
Well,
I
I'm
think
not
it's
sure
through,
what's happening here.
Richard.
It's working an hour ago.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think the battery might be flat.
Go on, Selena. While we're waiting, thoughts on time.
Just while you're waiting, as someone who uses the website quite a bit,
It's
I know that
rubbish.
Anthony's had some problems uploading things like the appendices to meeting. It's a legal requirement that anything you talk about or any documents that you have with the agenda are also equally public, and they're not. So sometimes because the files are too big and you can't get them up, so whenever you, also basically what I'm saying is when you're looking at the new website, you need to have the facility to upload big files.
So that would be a function from the back end. So whoever's
Yes.
managing that from the back end
Yeah.
would need to make recommendations
Yeah.
as to what the limitations are.
Yeah. The other thing is, as far as navigation, when you are trying to get to things like the financial information, you are legally obliged to publish your quarterly spend, lists of assets, so on and so forth. You have to provide and publish details of the annual audits and all of the background financial information. That's quite difficult to find on the website.
It's just the way that it is where it's placed.
Yeah. That needs to be more accessible.
Yeah, so my feedback, I've actually suggested that there needs to be a restructuring of the way that the information is presented on the website. So on the Buckhurst Hill Parish website, that information can be accessed straight on the homepage, which is what you want to see. So that is one recommendation.
Pass me by, okay.
Right.
Thank you.
There you go.
That's brilliant.
Okay, I'll have to remind myself what I wrote now. Yeah, I think we should remove so for the homepage, I think we should remove the Chigwell tube station sign, because that's not the only part of Chigwell.
Yeah.
So I think we should make it a little bit more representative of Chigwell as a whole. and maybe have rotating images of the local area, so
Yeah.
we can keep all the parish, all the tube stations
Chigwell,
associated.
Grange Hill, Chigwell Road.
Yeah, anything that comes within the areas. Does the Haylock Forest, that doesn't come part?
No.
No. Okay.
Well, it probably.
No.
Forest just.
I would say no.
No.
Well, I know it's on the
No.
border, but whether we've got any of it.
The problem with imagery
Yeah.
is that
It does.
99% of those photographs I took,
Right.
and I took those at a time when I was not the clerk,
Okay.
and I did have a bit of time to sort of go out for a couple
And take
hours
pictures.
and take photographs. Unfortunately, I don't have that
Landmarks.
time now.
We,
No.
well,
Yeah.
I
We
could
need
say,
the landmarks.
Well,
Yeah,
there is an
usually-
opportunity here to invite your local residents to submit photographs
Well, I was
Yeah,
gonna
and
of
have
what they feel
competition.
are representative images of the area.
that's good. And I was going to just say, the residents,
Competition.
Chigwell Association have got a massive database of pictures. Yeah, huge, which is on
But
some
if you
cloud.
As a suggestion, if you want to
Yeah.
get people more engaged with the website, you can use that as a publicity feature to say we are revamping the website and
Submit.
have some of your
Yeah.
photography included.
Do a picture of the month, and send it.
Yeah?
To get new images through.
Yeah.
But again, this is something we're coming on to communication. How are we going to ask everyone for that at the moment? What's our mode of communication on
So
that?
I think after reviewing this, the way I would normally approach something like this is you've got a project in itself to restructure the website.
Yeah.
Then that does need to be supported with a communications plan. So I think that would then go alongside that project and
Yeah.
come up with some ideas around that. So the other recommendation was to reorganise and reprioritise the tabs on the page. Maybe, so that was my suggestion, to do it in that order. More clearly outline contact details and site map at the footer of the page, and I'll put an example on the next slide. A list connected to meetings and minutes and the services tab needs a review. So a lot of that stuff seems like it's just a very long list basically, and even I got lost trying to figure out where all that stuff is. An icon or link to the community bus service and all associated information. So I never knew there was a live tracker app. Did anyone else know about the live
Yeah,
tracker app?
I did know.
I had no clue there was a live tracker app. That should be on the homepage.
Yeah.
What else did I put? Sorry. My eyesight's not that great.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I don't know. It's been difficult for some reason.
Oh, is it?
This computer is very temperamental.
It's not giving out funny colours like the other way.
It's thinking.
No, that's not this computer. That's the other one.
So what's this?
This is Mac.
This is the Mac that I got from Councillor Allen.
Oh.
There's a backstory.
Oh. So why don't we use that one for planning?
This one,
Do you want me to
because
bring
it's
my
very,
computer
very
every
slow
time?
with plannings. Yeah.
Should I bring my laptop every time? Might be helpful.
Well, no, it's just that this PowerPoint came to me a bit of a surprise. I also would have asked for your
sorry.
laptop.
Oh,
But it's
okay.
okay. It's all right.
Sorry.
Because it's quite fast for that.
I thought it'd be easier to talk it through this way then.
Yeah. Yes, it would have been in an ideal world.
So when we were doing it previously,
Yeah.
there's a couple of residents' meetings that we had, and we asked people to go away and look at the website and come back for some things. Do you want me to send you what the
Yeah.
feedback from the residents were on actually how they navigated the? Because it's not just us; it's them that's got to do that.
Yeah, well, they're more
so
likely to probably use it than we
yeah,
are.
so I'll send it on to you. That's like things like didn't have a blackboard at the front or a new notice. What they call a notice board. And there was things like that, and again, what Selina was saying about how they can find things they felt they were hidden. So I'll send that to you, Lona.
Okay, that'd be good.
Do you want to,
When
while we're waiting, do you want to run through Pranav's
Yeah.
email so
So-
you've got?
I'm sorry. This thing, I don't know.
Don't worry. So Brian has some suggestions, but this is more associated with
Communication side of things.
The website. So he suggested that we have an actual app with push notifications, allow decisions and updates to be sent direct to people's mobile phones, so meeting minutes, things about the bus service, Christmas lights, Diwali lights, all of those things.
I think that's a good idea. My concern is cost on that.
There will be a cost, and there will be some testing involved.
And I think that's a supplementary thing after we've got the website up and running.
Exactly.
But I think it's something definitely, it's the way of the future is everything's got an app.
Everything's on a phone, right?
Yeah.
So that's where you find
So I think that's something we park for the moment, but off the back of the website and whatever updates we do for the website needs to be compatible with the app or a app in the future.
Suggest an overhaul to the social media strategy and ensure it works more efficiently in maximising coverage to people.
And that's one thing I personally think we definitely need a Facebook page of some kind, or Instagram or Twitter.
We'd already agreed on that previously, to do the Facebook but not Twitter.
I think the thing with Twitter and the like is it needs constant maintenance.
Yeah.
You could, if you just put things out sporadically, people just lose interest and don't follow.
Yeah.
I think Facebook is definitely...
Facebook should be a must.
We couldn't do Twitter. We were a bit afraid of the councillor somehow what he was going to keep putting on Twitter.
But and also I think Instagram as well.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I think it would be useful to know how many parish councils actually use Instagram.
They're not. If you look at
but it's
we've gone through all this.
But
a lot of Facebook.
Government departments using Twitter.
Well, no, the one thing we said was that not to do Twitter and only to have maybe one person or two people that would actually have access to the Facebook. I said that it had to have to go through Anthony for some things to make sure that what was being put on there was okay.
I think the other thing you could do is a mailing list, but then to be quite honest with you, I end up just either it goes into spam or you just stop acknowledging.
And everybody, the issue also when we were researching this was that Mona, is that not everybody in Chigwell's uses a computer. So there's a lot of people on Lions Farm. So the app thing was a kind of something that we could have connected to everybody's phones that were interested. And then when we went to like Lions Farm and the like and part of Grange Hill, nobody was really interested in that. So we were trying to see about how we can.
The majority of people now, most I'd say, have access to a computer. Maybe not every day of the week or a phone or. And the thing for this, it's what I was saying about Instagram is it's not for it's for getting out, getting the message out, or getting what meetings are going on or what we're doing to as many people as we can, whether they are the younger generation or the older generation. Maybe I'm assuming won't be as into Instagram but even a lot of people are on Facebook.
I think Facebook is the best testing ground for uptake. Third one was website data analytics, so Google Analytics, just to kind of get a gauge on what interests the local residents and boost your communication strategy on that. And finally, the website overhaul forms a larger initiative of having a communication strategy, so pretty much what I said, it needs to be supported. And we need a com strategy to basically work in line with any revamp of the website. So I didn't know this, but Pranav has also said the reality is that residents get their news about Chigwell from the WhatsApp groups, which has been set up by the residents across Chigwell. This risks misinformation being communicated, and we need a cutting-edge system which allows residents to receive notices quickly, which is why he suggests an app as well as a website.
But the thing is, the WhatsApp groups some of them are pretty good because being in Grange Hill, I get them all from Lions Farm and any incidences that are going on. So we'll be the first to know if there's any bad incidents or any good or anything that literally is going on. So I'm completely up to date constantly with what's going on there. But it's like then, how do we go to the further audience of that?
I think the WhatsApp thing, it becomes niche, but also, I mean, I don't know about anyone else, but I have so many WhatsApp groups. And it just, after a while, you just end up muting it because it's just constantly going on. So
that was the problem with our one out by West Hatch, the group, and they're just constant all night, and in the end it was like no messages after 9 o'clock or something like that.
It gets hard to manage. So where are we now, Anthony?
Wherever you like, really.
Okay, let's
manage to get it work
tentatively
speaking.
We go back.
Go back to the list.
Beginning. Yeah, there we go. Where did I get to? Refresh colour and branding if possible. Would be
definitely.
a must. Latest news should feature more prominently on the page, so
Exactly,
either higher
that one.
up, highlighting associations such as CRA. So another good thing was
I need to stop you there on that one.
Can't do that.
No.
You can't. We can't. We had this
Yeah,
last
it was
time.
a big thing with this.
So why is it that on the Chigwell Parish website they have a list of all the local clubs?
I know.
Because I think what Anthony, because I remember when I was asking you if we could.
We can list different associations. There's no problem with
programs.
that.
Right.
But
You can't link it out.
But providing
Link.
links to actual residents' associations, I think
So
we
then
need to
we
be
can
careful.
check. I can amend that. I've put highlighting associations.
Yeah,
not
the
linking.
word highlighting can be interpreted how you like.
Yeah.
So
So
I
I
have no
think-
problem.
Yeah.
Let's show that we're a community and let's see.
Because we
Yeah,
asked, because we thought it was
Now-
a really good thing, but it's a case, it can't be seen to be favouring one, and that was the whole thing. So they've all got.
No,
well, if we just had the CRA, and
Because
Lions Farm doesn't
there
come
was like there's Lions Farm. There was a Chigwell Row one, but they're not really established. Or they're kind of dismantling maybe. It's Well, I think the issue was obviously the CRA is the biggest, and it was just whether we were favouring. This is when I was the chair of the CRA.
Bit uncertain whether it's the biggest chairman. But anyway,
In Chigwell,
the point I'd like to make, Chairman, is that all these ideas are very nice, but at the moment we have a website that I suppose it's generally agreed is not quite fit for purpose. So if we are to incorporate these ideas, it will probably require a certain amount of expenditure, and it will also possibly requiring us disengaging ourselves from the contract, the arrangement with Vision ICT. The details of which I'm a bit uncertain about. I think maybe the RFO could probably shed some light.
An annual subscription. I mean, it's not.
They just host
Are they
it.
maintaining the website? Or
Sorry?
Are they maintaining the website in any way?
Well, define maintaining. I mean, we put things and take things off as we see fit.
So they
But
don't
I do know, the thing is, this issue with the website has been discussed before with the communications committee, and one of the problems is that the things that we wanted it to do then, they were unable to do.
Right.
So there was a bit of a standoff there, and I don't think the council at that time,
Stand off with who, sorry?
but between what we wanted and what the
They could
situation
do.
at the time with the website.
Right.
At that time, there didn't seem to be the will within the council to actually say,
Do
okay,
something.
we're going to disengage ourselves from this, or we're going to spend money, or what.
Yeah, we just haven't got to that
Well-
bit, because we're doing more research about, what people were saying that they wanted from it as local
Right.
people as well as, and weren't we? Everybody was trying to,
Can I ask Anthony, so with the website, your Vision ICT people, what are they? Are you paying them a monthly fee, an annual fee?
Annually.
Annual.
Annual.
And are they hosting the website with that annual fee? Do they do any extra work for you, or do you have to pay on an
You'd
hourly
have to
basis?
pay.
I mean, if there are particular technical issues that have arisen, someone wants something put on that currently won't work.
Right.
It's a question of asking them, can you do this, can
Right.
you amend that, and they will do it if they can.
Okay.
So
But
if
there are limitations, and I don't know if, and I know nothing too much about different web companies, so it may well be that they have got limitations that other companies that would host websites don't have, and could do something far more to what you want, as opposed to what they can't do.
Can I ask why we chose Vision ICT?
I have no
Before
idea.
my
It was the
time.
previous clerk.
I can put some light on that, in that previous to having Vision ICT, we engaged another website company that had close associations with a former councillor. However, due to events I'm not too privy to, they decided to disengage themselves from that website and use Vision ICT. Obviously that decision was made before I was clerk, so I'm not sure of the reasoning behind that decision. I just know the decision was made sometime around 2013, 14, somewhere around there.
So there is an annual contract. When does it come to an end?
Well, it's just a hosting, isn't it?
Well, you
For
would
the
just
hosting,
you
I mean,
just
it's
continue
not a
it.
huge
paying.
amount of money, to be honest.
No.
So
Just
if
probably
at
3-4
some stage we want to change mid-year, it's not a large
Is it-
amount.
So it's possible we can
What?
do that, yeah.
Go on,
Possible
man.
for you to just keep going through these.
Yeah, finish this off. Now I've got a suggestion.
Yeah.
Because this is kind of repetitive of what we'd already gone through
Well, yeah,
before,
it's-
which we know that we've got to
Yeah.
change
Mona,
this.
carry on.
Yeah.
Okay, so latest news, connection to library events or clubs that meet at the local libraries. I don't know, I heard there was a book club apparently. I didn't know that there was a book club at the local library. So things like that could be used. A suggestion box for parishioners to contribute to local change in the community, which can be anonymous.
Yeah.
I think would be good.
I think it's a good idea.
Search button at the top of the page. Connection back to the Epping Forest District Council website, which we don't have, and Buckers still do.
And County Council should be
Yeah.
as well.
And a history of Chigwell and its parishes, maybe a connection to Wikipedia, but that is something that shouldn't be too prominent, but should be on the website.
Yeah. Come on.
Next page. So that's the footer example. So this is Buckers still. So what I'm saying is we should have some of this at the bottom. Join our newsletter if we have one. Next page. This is on the About Us. So I think on this page, if we had something like this, we could have the image gallery on this page with links to the cemetery allotments, bus routes and Chigwell Community Bus Service, which is kind of in different places on the existing website. But it would be nice to have something like this on our website showing places of worship, medical facilities, what the schools are, shopping. It's a place for local shops to put their
Yeah,
details.
right.
I totally agree.
Promoting
On that.
local business.
Exactly. Next page.
Don't say it's like we're promoting.
Yeah, we
Well, not well. I think that's.
Saying
fine.
they
that's not
exist.
kind of what she
Supporting.
meant. That's-
I think
Sorry?
very
Can't
much
even
we
do
should be
that.
supporting local business.
Supporting, yes.
Supporting
yes.
About parish council, so recommendation for your councillors page, which I think Buckers still have it on the main page. I think we should do something similar. But again, up for debate. So just a list, employees. I don't know what precept for 2019-20 is. Oh, that's the amount of money. And then so that was just an example of the detail, which would be nice to have. Next page.
Barry's head.
Yeah, so I think that actually for these different, I don't know how many committees we have. Do we have just one committee now? Or?
So we've got in essence planning, full council, management, and finance,
Right.
Yeah.
So that's a list of all of them before.
and personnel.
I actually looked at that and thought, what the hell? Because there's so many.
Yeah.
And then I went to one page, so I went to the communications committee, and it was just a list of people's names with nothing else to tell you what they do. Which I
That's because it
thought-
doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Isn't it,
So
as
that
well?
list needs internal review on my recommendation. I also suggest that we iconise the different committees.
Yeah.
So they actually it's more of a visual connection.
I mean, actually, that's
just a
quite.
list.
If you see on a lot of when we did our research on this, nationally, that was a short list. So some people have pages of these committees. Okay, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, and people get very confused with them all. But yeah, they do. That was
Go on,
quite.
Selena.
One thing it is important to remember with committees that don't exist anymore, you still need to be able to
The
archive
archive,
those
yeah.
minutes.
Archive it,
Yeah.
But they still need the minutes,
Yeah.
the agendas of all the previous still need to be easily accessible.
Yeah, and this is what I was relating to, the list of agendas and meetings. I thought that was quite neatly and
Yeah.
concisely put down, and that should actually just be refreshed on a monthly or quarterly basis.
Did you want to say?
That's what I was going to say
Yeah.
about committees.
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone stole my thunder.
Next page. This is just examples of companies that do parish council websites. So
The thing with Stoke is that we'd like to support. You know, when there's things like fates going on
Yeah.
and
The Rotary
things
Club
like anything like that.
So my suggestion for that is should be on the homepage.
Yeah.
On news.
Events.
On news, and that's one thing everyone
Shouldn't
said
even
wasn't
be a
there.
separate tab. It should just be on your homepage.
Yes,
and
it
then
Yeah.
from our communication strategy, Facebook page, linking it, all of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was I say? I think the Buckers Hill website is very similar to the CRA website. That front page looked as identical. So
yeah, I wouldn't be using the CRA website as a beacon.
no, there's both.
So actually,
I'm not.
to follow on from my suggestions, what I wanted to also say, in my experience of working with website development or rebranding, what have you, a project like this, usually, if you're going to change your existing provider, would need to go out for tender.
Yeah.
Oh,
To get costings, and it would need a timeline, and from experience, they're not cheap. So
no.
that's
Really? When you mean not cheap, what do you mean?
Like,
they're usually about 5,000. Are they not the starting price?
no, I think you can still. No,
You can get one probably for about 3.
But then there's another thing to consider there is your back end functionality, and if you've got issues with that, then that would also need to change. So it might be that the back end needs modernising or upgrading. So there's a price attached to that too.
I think. Well, my recommend. I think really brilliant what you've done so far today. I think the next step, if everyone's in agreement, because I think we're all in agreement that the website needs opening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
We need to be going out and tendering for some costings for the website. And I suppose with your suggestions, putting it out to various companies and seeing what that cost is, and then we can consider.
So there are some websites, some companies that actually just specialise in parish council websites.
Well,
some of them aren't that great. They're a bit, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But we definitely have to go out to tender.
Yeah, I think we go out to the specialist companies, but then maybe some more.
Could we not
modern.
tout for local business?
Yeah, local always.
Yeah.
I think it's important, local business as well. I think we don't know them.
Definitely.
What?
So that's my suggestion.
Yeah, and I know there's a couple locally as well. I think. Well, I know
It's always good to use.
there's someone in Loughton that does it. I don't know.
So what are the next steps from this?
So you arranged with Mona and Prana to get a brief together and then go out to tender initially. Then once we got the costings back, we can consider it from there, and depending on the costings, we can discuss it, finance committee, and agree a budget. In reality, as you said, I think we need to try and agree a timeline. So. Can we say we'll try and get the brief and the out to tender within the next 4 weeks?
Ooh.
I think you'll be
Christmas time. Who's going to tender?
No, not costings back in. I mean, getting it out to people to offer to ask to quote for it. I'm not saying they'll come back straight away.
I think it's a little bit ambitious. Prana's got a baby due in the next 4 weeks, so I know I'm feeling. What's our bandwidth on this? Do we have a deadline? Do we have a time pressure on this?
No,
it's entirely up to the committee, I suppose.
It's just one of these things that
I've got
otherwise
2
it
more
drags.
council meetings for the rest of the year,
Right.
and one is next week.
Yeah.
At the moment, I mean, we can have another council meeting if we see fit, but
So all right. So what would you feel comfortable? So you're going to have to.
Can I say that we
discuss it with Pranav and.
let's discuss it with Pranav. My preference would be that we have something out for tender in New Year, January.
I agree with that.
I think anything sooner is highly ambitious.
I agree with that.
Fine.
Okay.
No, fine. It's just all it for me. I just want to keep it moving so
fair enough.
so it gets done.
Yeah, but then it gives them time to actually think about a few more things.
criteria
and
and the
write the criteria.
And Deborah, you're going to get over the previous
And I'm going to send
suggestions so
through so that
you can try and
yeah.
incorporate that. Fine.
they've
Good.
she's incorporated a lot of it anyway, but just so that there's some other things.
And then just in terms, so then on some of the communication things, is there any issue with us setting up a Facebook page or getting that set up?
I think there needs to be some discussion and decision on who manages that page.
Well,
that's exactly.
well,
it. We weren't gonna
ultimately,
have-
it needs to be Anthony that essentially manages it, or is
Well,
responsible for
can
what
we-
goes
No,
on.
I think
I'm a bit uncertain about that because
no.
of the
What we
time
had
involved.
decided was that somebody would do that, but it'd have to go through. Maybe Tony, just to double check that everything.
Maybe the
was-
chairman.
Can I make a suggestion here? If we start rushing to try and do things, I think if we want a comms plan and strategy that incorporates not just the website but the bus community service and all the rest of it, I think it needs to be and planned out thoroughly with key accountability and deliverables, and don't think it can be
And the
rushed. So-
success
No. Yeah, I'm not.
No,
I'm
we're
not saying.
saying that.
I'm not
We
saying
know
kicking
all
off.
that.
It's again. It's another project which I just want to get.
Fair
Off
enough.
the
So
ground.
we can
The
do it in
discussion.
tandem. We can
Fine.
do it in tandem
So
with
can
the
then
website.
can I add then to your list
Yes.
between you and Pranav to
Yes,
come up with this
you can.
communication strategy? And again, were you on that communications list? I know personnel went on. Or do you want to be involved in the communication strategy?
Yeah, I don't mind on that, considering that's what we were doing.
Yeah.
I chaired it. Of
Pretty-
course, we literally got all the background from it. We just
Yeah.
didn't go any further with it.
But that's the thing. I want to make sure we get it going.
Mhm.
So I'll tell you what. If you put your heads together with Mona and Pranav,
Mm-hmm.
and then you've already done a lot of the work on that communication strategy.
Yeah.
So then we've got a head start, and then we can get that. Ideally, that should be, if we can present the strategy to the next management committee. I don't know when that is yet.
And how long the strategy would be for next 5 years, 3 years?
I think start 12
Should we
months.
start with 1 year?
Yeah.
Right.
We'll start that, and then
Yeah.
we can expand from it from there.
Same goes for the website, our target audience. Are we looking at, run of the mill? Are we looking at
Everybody.
Well,
youngsters
it's got to be the
more?
whole parish.
Yeah.
So it's got to encompass as much as.
More youngsters.
Yeah.
What is our
Yeah.
population like in here? More young, more old? I know the answer, but just for the
Yeah,
factual sake.
It's the demographic.
Age.
Chigwell.
Yeah.
Chigwell.
Oh.
Anyway.
Get a census.
We'll get to. Let's
Because
crack on.
that's
Otherwise,
would be
we're
the
going to be here
strategy
all night.
would
Yeah.
entail.
All right, moving on. 10 community bus service marketing and publicity campaign. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on this because the answer to this at the moment, and what we agreed at the previous meeting, is that we haven't got a budget for this. So, discussing it with the chairman, what we will look at, or what we would do, or what he's happy to do, is that we will do certain marketing things which are not expensive, basically.
Like what?
Like, for example, Dr. Naveed has said he's quite keen to have some leaflets or timetables within his surgery.
Can I just say what my concern is about this? Okay, so you've said that you're going to have this going until April. You've got 5 months to the 1st of April. We've now had the email through today to say that the SO1 hasn't even been considered. Nothing has been. So the thing is, you've got 5 months. Where
No,
you
it
could
hasn't.
actually,
That's not quite what it said.
well, yeah, it does. It says that it hasn't even been discussed yet.
No, it will. It's going to November committee. Was that November committee?
Can I just update the committee with regards to the email that Councillor Barlow is referring to? The most recent email, well, in fact, I'd better give the full history of the situation. If I ask members who attended the planning meeting where this application was first considered, they had promised in their spiel that they would give a written assurance regarding the S106 agreement that it would include references to contributing a figure of £850,000 towards community bus service. They made that assurance on the 24th of September. I reminded them of that on an email I sent the same day, and in response on the same day they said, many thanks for your email, I will forward it to my clients and we will get back to you in the near future. I then sent them a follow-up email, having not heard from them, on the 31st of October, and initially they sent the exact same email.
Pardon?
2018 or
No,
19?
today.
No.
19.
19.
It's
Today.
again, they said, many thanks for your email. I'll forward it to my clients and we'll get back to you in the near future. Right. Immediately after that, I think probably he recognised, and he responded that we are waiting feedback from the planning officer regarding the planning application. We have not yet discussed the details of the S106 agreement with him. That him he's referring to is obviously
Ian
Mr.
Ansell.
Ian Ansell. The development has not yet started, It will not be started until planning permission has been granted and any relevant considerations have been discharged, conditions have been discharged.
Yes, which is standard
Now, as I
practice.
first advised members, my concern is that the parish council does not really have a representative at the district level in support of what we would like, in support of this S106 agreement. They seem to, they're in discussions with and that email is obviously today. So that's the latest situation with regards to the S106 agreement. So whilst, I mean, it's up to the council, to the committee and the
Well, no,
council.
but there's 2 points here. Even in April, if this doesn't, if we stop funding it, the bus is still carrying on. In terms of Angela has.
Whoa.
Well, no, I'm finished
Chairman.
yet. Right.
Okay, sorry.
So, have we not had confirmation from Angela, who said she's carrying it on? Yes, it will be a different guise in terms of it may be a paid bus service.
I think that we agreed that it would be up for review.
No, but no, in terms of she was committed to carrying it on beyond our commitment.
Was she not going to? No, we hadn't made any.
No, but it's down to her then. If she takes it.
Chairman, if I could just remind the committee, my recollection is that we agreed that the parish council would disengage ourselves from that arrangement and that the bus service in its existing format would be discontinued.
Yeah, which is the same thing.
Though
So it won't be free.
That's the wording.
She may start charging it in
Yes.
5 words. That's what it means.
But what I'm saying is that the council is going to be disengaging itself in the event of the S106 agreement not being realised.
Yeah.
That's what I put in the minutes, and those minutes will be put to the council at the 17th and 17th.
That's what.
If they disagree with that,
She
that's
did
entirely
come
up to the
meeting
council.
beforehand, and she did. Obviously, she mentioned about yes, that she.
Anyway, this is all besides the point. Anyway,
Yes,
this
it
is
is.
more. This is more what I'm talking about. Is the likelihood is even if we are not involved, the bus is going to carry on. So that in terms of Councillor Barlow's point was that it finishes in 5 months' time if the money doesn't come through. What I'm saying is it won't be wasted effort because the bus will carry on in some guise. Maybe not under our control, but it's still carrying on. So I'm talking more about the marketing side of things. And what I'd agreed with the chairman was that we would do stuff like provide the council doctor with timetables and things like that forward to putting in surgery. Just minor things like that to then provide some advertisement at this site.
Do you not think it's too late now?
Well, no, it's never too late. And
We've
I
got
don't.
5 months, Jamie. Do you seriously, honestly think? I'm going to get a question here that S106 is going to come to us.
Yes.
I don't.
Well,
I don't think one minute it's going to.
100% it will.
It's massive clear.
Are we not going to find out in November?
I would just say from a resident's point of view and from a member of the public who's actually paying for this bus at the moment, this S106 money has been promised and promised for years and years. The precept was put up at the beginning of 2018 by 3% to pay for this bus. Yet we've got council.
Well,
Yes, it was. The minutes state it, and you can.
All right, but that's a different subject. We're talking about
What I'd like to say is that residents have always been told by councillors this bus would not cost taxpayers a penny, and the fact is, at the moment, it's cost us over £100,000 and counting. Now I am sitting here listening to the same story that the S106 money is coming, and I've been listening
all right,
to
that's
that
Selena. That's
years.
enough now. We're debating something else now. What we've agreed as council is we're rolling for 6 months, and then beyond that, if the 106 hasn't turned up, then that's the end of it.
And how much is it costing us to? Because I wasn't here at the last meeting, so I wouldn't have actually agreed to that. So how much
to the council. We're
We're
not discussing that now because it's a different subject. We're focusing on this. Otherwise, we're going to be here all night. Focusing on this in terms of marketing. Now there isn't a budget for marketing at the moment, so the only thing we can do.
Well, there is a budget for the buses.
I don't understand why we're doing this.
Because we have a service we're providing, and the biggest problem is we've not done any marketing.
If it has offered to do this, he needs to be here.
No, but the thing everybody's missing the point here.
I understand your question. You're saying, why are we promoting it? When the bus manager came in here, she did a survey, and the survey was presented to all of us. I think you were present here as well. And in that survey, she clearly said that the feedback received was good. Yeah. However, every single one of the 90-something that she did the survey on said it is not promoted enough to make a good use of it. Okay, and I think from the back of it, what we agreed in that meeting was that maybe among ourselves, we should come up with something for whatever time we have to promote it.
S106.
No, it wasn't conditional.
But it wasn't. What's the point? I don't understand. No, please bear with me 1 second, so I'm allowed to have my view. If in 5 months' time, it's very possible we're again not going to have the S106, where we may use money again of the public money.
No, but we're not. But that's our point. No, but your point's irrelevant, because we're saying we can't. We're not just sitting on our hands, and if the 106 does come, then we're sitting on our hands again. But what we're saying. We're not looking to spend money. We're looking to do some basic marketing, just to promote the service, because generally, as we were saying, the surveys are that people do like the service, and it is being used. Yes, there's some times where it is empty, and that's where we need to where the fall down, where there was meant to be these bus meetings and didn't happen for whatever reason previously. But now we're talking about what we can do to just promote it at this stage. We're not talking about spending money, and there is a point. If it's still going for the next 5 months, then we might as well get the best use out of it.
We have agreed up till April, so those decisions are taken.
Yeah.
And those decisions are not being opened up again. The only point here is that within those 5 months, how to increase the traffic of residents using it, so making further use of the resource which is there anyway. And
which could be changed, and then they could be charged for it afterwards.
I think the decision taken in that meeting was we cannot charge.
For the community bus service are not even here at this meeting.
No, they have done their presentation to a full meeting.
Talking about,
but this involves a marketing thing. So should they not really be here before we approve any course of action? I feel that they should be here before we make any recommendations. So I think we should move it to the committee.
But then it's not taking decision.
But exactly, we're just kicking another can
wasting another 4 weeks.
Yeah, but the people that are responsible for it are not here.
We can add further, but what is being suggested right now is not going to cost, and the party involved are ready to do it. It won't cost. It won't lose anything.
Suggestion then. Can we just prepare the timetables?
This here.
And a laminated sheet on the timetable, and we can provide them to the doctor, just as an initial, something to put in his thing, with a poster saying Chigwell bus service.
So leaflet circular advertising the bus service in the doctor's surgery.
With the timetable.
Yeah.
How many copies?
No, just speak to Dr. Naveed and see what he can have on his notice board, and maybe we can run a few copies of.
And maybe we can announce it on the switching on the light, this whole thing.
Yeah.
So, this is going to involve obviously printing a considerable number of copies.
No, I'm not. No, we're not talking about leaflets. On the notice.
Oh, one copy.
Yeah,
on the notice.
On his notice board.
On the notice board in his.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Just one copy.
Okay.
I don't. The whole point is we don't want to be. We're not spending money on marketing at this stage. That's that. Happy?
I'm happy with that.
And obviously, any other suggestions? 3 suggestions. One.
Are we okay to move to the focus areas?
Something like this is what you have in mind.
Exactly.
Okay. Fine. One copy.
Let me just get through the number 11.
Can you make maybe a couple more? I can put some in Chigwell.
Yeah.
10 copies?
Yeah, we can ask the pharmacy.
Yeah, exactly. All right, number 11, policy, proposed routes and timetable update.
Okay, if members refer to Appendix 2, that's the latest timetable and route that we have agreed. This was previously featured, I think, in the agenda.
Yeah.
It was actually previously a confidential item, only because we were considering the contract at the last council meeting. We've approved that and we decided to go forward with that. So I just thought it would be prudent to include this for members' information again.
Fine.
And the public. Also, policy. At the moment, the policy is that we loan the bus to a religious organisation free of charge. In return for that, they allow the bus to turn around in their compound. I know this has been mentioned to the chairman and to the vice chairman, this situation, and there's been an expression of discomfort with that arrangement for obvious reasons. So this matter is now before the council, the committee, to determine whether they want to continue that situation or they feel a more appropriate arrangement.
Well, I was going my suggestion was going to be we write a letter to them and ask them for a contribution, a donation, however we want to word it, to explain the situation now.
A plight.
Yeah.
Which is, what is the situation?
Well, that we were expecting money in and it hasn't arrived as yet, and so essentially.
I don't think we need to
go into that. Not in that detail, but I think we need to.
I think it's simple. You are being provided with a free service
Exactly.
for considerable length of time. However, the time has come. Would you like you to contribute to it?
Yeah.
So.
Can I just ask a point on the route? Finish this first.
Sorry, and do we have any idea, members, on exactly what this contribution should be?
What is a one bus
well, I
ride?
think the weekends they use it an awful lot, and they use it. So of course it's diesel and stuff. They don't.
I've got no. Do we have any idea? Can we find out?
How many seater is the bus?
16.
16.
So a minivan.
Well,
Minimum of 75 to 90 pounds.
Well, I think maybe we put that to Angela and ask roughly
Minimum.
how much. Does she have any idea of usage?
Any ideas on
I think they make roughly 4 to 5 trips there and back from their site to Chigwell Tube Station, roughly, every Sunday.
How do you quantify that?
And that's at the beginning of the day, and then again at the end to drop people off, so that effectively doubles.
If you hire a van for a day of that size, it's about 75 to 90 pounds, isn't it, per day?
So what we
I
say?
would say so, yes.
So we saying what?
Right.
So we ask.
So it's just a hire of a van
So we saying
with
what?
the driver.
350, £400 a month.
Yeah, something
that-
like
She
that.
wants to check with Angela because she does have arrangements where she hires out her vehicle, so
Okay.
they'll have a rate for hire.
Oh, so it's
You-
community transport hire
Yes.
out rate, yeah.
So fine, confirm that with Angela and go from there. Go on, Selina.
One question. I noticed the route was reverted to going down gravel lane. What was the data that decision was based on? Because I know we're still waiting for the breakdown of passenger numbers. The CRA is still waiting for the breakdown of last year's passenger numbers into hours of the day so we can see. So I'm assuming then councillors have got all of that information. I'd like to know why the decision was made to revert to the gravel lane when that was decided it wasn't effective before.
That was based on Angela, wasn't it? She amended the route.
With regards to passenger numbers, I'm pretty certain that I've sent that to members.
Yeah.
But I suppose the point is it hasn't been publicly.
Having been involved initially in trying to sort those routes out, that's something I wasn't aware of, because gravel lane causes all sorts of problems with the tailbacks to the roundabout, which was one of the reasons why it was scrapped. The gravel lane doesn't work as a route. Vicarage Lane is far more sensible.
I suppose following on from that, I do know that the manager of the buses, Angela, had altered the routes and the timetable mildly without the consent of the council, and I think we did inquire about that. I can't remember exactly from the minutes of the council meeting. I did approach her on the question, but I can't exactly remember what her answer was at the time. But this route as it exists now was put before the council along with the contract, and it was agreed at that time.
Are we sure that's just not an error? That
it's possible. It's possible.
Can we check?
Can we check about that? Because
yeah, all right, fine. Can we ask that you check that? And can I ask that you send out make public the data?
Passenger numbers. She did present it in the meeting.
Yeah.
Yes, she did.
She did.
Yeah. She presents it as an Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah.
I'll have to work on how to make it understand, because I have difficulty understanding it. So I'll probably have to rejig it. So
I seem to remember it was around 2,000 passengers a month. I don't know.
Yes.
I've got a whole agreement.
Okay.
Hang on a second.
All right, let's move on. Cemetery projects. Do you want to give the update, or who's
Yeah, if members refer to Appendix 3A, there's proposals there. Obviously, for members who've quite recently visited the cemetery, you'll realise that the toilets are in somewhat of a state that's sort of generally acknowledged, particularly by the chairman who visits there quite frequently.
Yeah.
And it was his initial suggestion that the council consider the renovation of that. I suppose I can pass you on to the RFO who could explain any questions that members may have regarding this quote.
Well, as the council mentioned, the chairman's initiative for the development that he wanted to consider around the cemetery, and there are effectively three elements to that. There's the renovation of the toilet block that exists at the moment, bringing it up to a more modern specification. Possibility then as a second option to additionally have a 24-hour access small toilet area, because feedback from visitors at the cemetery has been quite vociferous in regards not having access to toilets at the weekends, evenings, for the elderly and those that might need them. So there's that as a consideration. And then finally, the third and the largest part of the redevelopment is the consideration of providing a multi-purpose stroke chapel area which would combine the current underused office space where the drivers use as a base at the moment, plus the covered area, and combining those two areas to make a all-purpose chapel type area. Again, in response to requests that have been had on a number of occasions by people who want to hold services at the cemetery and undertakers on their behalf. And of course, at the moment, we have to say there is no facility as such, so they on a regular basis go elsewhere to try and find an alternative venue. And I think it's fair to say that those two areas at the moment are very, very underused.
Yeah.
And of course, it would then provide some sort of a revenue for the council in the future as the hire of that type of facility. So with regards to that, there's a local architect who specialises in this particular area. I spoke to him, and you can see that provided a specific quote for the management of the project.
Yeah.
And there's a breakdown for the three specific elements to that project. And it has to be emphasised that is purely for the management of the project itself. The costs that would be associated with the actual build and the renovations would be separate over and above the costs that have been quoted there.
So at this stage, are we just approving to go ahead with the drawings and?
Well, it's a decision for yourselves as to whether you want to go with 1, 2 or 3 or none at all of those options.
Well, I think.
Chairman,
Just
if you recall, I think we had agreed to make a visit before deciding, and I wrote to you, I think you could make it.
No, fine. But this is slightly. Were we not looking at the? Because I've been to site already previously, I think it's all agreed that the toilets desperately need.
No, about the damage, how to put it in order.
Well,
nobody would know easily.
But that's what we've got with employing Mr. Saggers to do. Is that not correct?
They can't. Nobody can. I'm an architect. If you sent me there, if I didn't know the early history, I wouldn't know. I know the structure.
Yeah. So
I know each brick how it was laid.
So what are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting we visit first.
Yeah.
And we'll decide if this guy is okay.
Well, to be honest,
later on, but I think we have.
Fine. Go on, Slim.
So I just wanted to question. The work there was a lot of work done at the cemetery in about 2011, wasn't there? I know that the parish borrowed a large amount of money. There is still about 100,000 outstanding of that Public Works Loan Board loan. We're paying that back about £7,000 a year, and there's about another 20 years on that? 20, 25 years, something like that. So a large amount of money was borrowed. As I say, there's still £100,000 outstanding. Payments are being made of £7,000 a year. They're going to be made for the next 20, 25 years to pay off a loan of £100,000 that was taken out, a large loan that was taken out to do a lot of work on the cemetery and that toilet block. That was when that was built, I believe, in 2011. My question now. Toilet block's much older, but there was works done up there that we are now looking at repairing.
No.
So what I would say, I just want to make sure that, because there were problems with the works that were done up there and the cost, and there are problems with builders, and is there any comeback to the builders that only did the work there a few years ago that the parish are still, and residents are still paying for and will be paying for the next 20, 25 years?
But that's slightly a different thing with the paying back. I remember we had this discussion previously. It's more, we were looking to pay that money off, but there was quite a large redemption fee of some kind. That's
it would have to be a fairly hefty redemption, because you're paying over £250,000 back still.
Basically the numbers were done and it wasn't worthwhile paying that money off in a lump sum.
That seems a very high redemption fee.
It was
what,
about
over
20 or 30,000 extra if we wanted to pay it off. Straight on, it would pay off the remains. I think the council side it was just far too much.
So to pay back 100,000,
I don't think that's under discussion right here.
But you're paying back £7,000 a year at the moment for the next 20 plus years. You're paying back.
All right, we're deviating off the subject.
I mean, I can understand. The points.
Residents are concerned that a lot of money has been spent and is still being paid for on the cemetery. So I think whatever works are done now need to be taken very carefully into consideration, and to make sure that they're not being done as a result of works not being done properly a few years ago.
I take your point. This is the toilet block is a separate issue, or needs something that needs maintaining, or refurbishing. So I'm still a bit. So are we?
And obviously, with the chapel thing's a new thing, so it's not something that's going to be repaired or. That doesn't sound very good.
No, it's King William.
Yeah. So do we not? For the chapel, I'm assuming we need to get planning permission for it.
That would be part and parcel of the service that is being proposed by the architect. Yes. Obviously, there would have to be all sorts of specifications, plans that they would be drawn up under your guidance, of which planning applications would also be one of them.
So, is it not? Sorry, I was just. Do we not need to get the quotes to find out how much it's going to cost?
Well, that is part of the service that's being offered.
So he will go out.
He will manage the whole project, which involves obtaining the necessary numbers of quotes, and then.
I'm a bit. So we need to agree that we want to initially instruct Paul Saggers here to proceed with
1, 2, 3, or none of the.
Or can we not instruct him to proceed? But surely we need to get an understanding of what the projects are going to cost. So
and I think that's why.
Chairman, I think it requires simplification on one. First of all, because of the numbers involved, anything that this committee resolves will obviously have to go to the council.
Yeah.
So I haven't written the agenda for the council meeting next week yet, simply because I need to get a decision here to determine what I'm going to write on that piece of paper tomorrow morning.
Fine.
Okay.
All right. I'm proposing, just let's speed this up, that we move this forward to the full council with a view to going forward with Mr. Saggers and him coming back with some fee quotes for the work. Or what work's going to be done.
Yes, but we're moving him forward to do what exactly?
Well, all the way.
All of it.
It's got to go to full council anyway, so we can have that debate whether we want it, if anyone else wants to knock something.
Well, no, you see, full council in this respect will either say yes or no. You see, they won't say yes, we'll take that, no, we won't take that. That's for the committee to decide.
But
we have to present a very simplistic decision to the council.
Yes, I think that was agreed.
Or not.
They're simply to approve your expenditure.
Exactly.
Over £5,000.
They're not approving the cake. They're approving the money spent on the cake.
But sorry, we don't have. So I'm misunderstanding here. His fee is £8.5 for all of it to manage the whole process, to project manage the whole process.
This is
so the services included.
Yes, the 3 projects. He will then obviously have to draw up plans, provide specifications at your desk in terms of exactly how you want this to look, what you want to have included, so on and so forth. Whether you want electric heaters in the toilet, or whether you just want paper towels, or all those sorts of things. You will manage the whole project, and then when it comes to the building at your specification, tenders will go out to the requisite number. They will then make a presentation recommendation in terms of who to go with, etc., and will then oversee the whole project through to completion.
The thing is I think Councillor Channel was right. Why can't we go down and talk about things that we would like? You know the place.
But we do that with the architect, surely. We get him.
The architect will do.
We go down with him
your request
and sit down and
what you want to do.
We'll go with him and do it.
Whether you want new tiles, whether you want wallpaper, whether you want curtain, all those sorts of things. That's just parcel of the service.
Guys, I need to leave.
Yeah, I'll go pick my son up at 9:30.
I think one of the basic problems the residents will have at this point is that nobody has any idea how much the buildings themselves are going to cost. Fine, you're going to be paying an architect £8,000 to get you right up to the point and get planning permission. But if he turns around and says, well, the building's going to cost £2 million, then we don't have any ballpark figures of what these buildings might actually cost.
That was a concern I had, because clearly, to a certain extent, on this base, you don't know what the rest is.
That's why I'm confused about.
However, the chairman did ask me to speak to the architect to get a rough ballpark figure for what it's worth, and his view was it would cost between 150 and 200,000 for the whole, all 3 projects, approximately.
I think the first thing the council should be doing is getting ballpark figures in writing, so that you do have an idea of future. But you can't enter into a project and even commit to spending £8,000 getting finished plans and planning permission without having something a bit more concrete than I spoke to him and it was a telephone.
Well, no,
What if it comes out at 500,000?
Well, no, but the problem is, and I know this from my own personal experience here, we would never quote on something unless we had full set of plans and drawings.
Yeah.
So,
no, but as you're looking at it and you can see yourself that the cart is going before the horse.
Well, yeah.
You can't, you can't enter into a project without knowing that you can pay
Well, no,
for it.
what we'd normally be committing to with an architect is, I'm a bit concerned at the £8,500 for this. What we need is a bit more of a breakdown of something that he would do, perhaps a set of drawings for, that we could use to then take tender with.
Oh, he's got the whole thing here. Survey existing, proposed design imagery for your approval. They've actually said what that's for.
Well, no, what I would be doing, what I'd be normally looking for is more of a breakdown of stages, and like from the rebate design, where you design, I can't remember what the stages are now, but there's various different stages. So the first stage is going to cost us £1,500 or something like that, I don't know, for him to draw up some plans for all the works. We can then tender off the back of that, and then at least we're not committing to the 8,500 on day one.
Can I just ask a basic question? To do up the, say, entire work, do we have an allocated budget for it?
No.
There's no, well, no, not as such, but there are earmarked reserves with monies put aside for Chigwell amenities, quotes, unquotes, which is, well, it's the council's, it's money that's been put away over the years, it's been building up.
So there is
money
apart from reserves,
within the budget.
there is no clear money.
No, it was never part of the budget when it was set at the beginning of April last year. It's never considered.
Well, sorry, Mark, I'm going to cut in there just because I want to get this. I'm going to make the suggestion that we go back to Paul Sagan and ask him for a bit more of a breakdown of the various stages. Is that
breakdown of what? Stages.
Because at the moment, it's not very clear the way he's done it, I don't think.
I also think you've got to go back to council to say, it's very possible that it's going to cost us this £150,000, £200,000.
We don't have
what's
the financials on it?
You can't just spend the 150, 200. You've got to put it in the budget. It's got to be properly done and allocated in a budget. This is public money. I am surprised. You need to be looking at a possible cost per foot, for cost per square metre, for building this. An architect should be able to come up with this. There's only one architect being tendered. You're required to put that out to more than one.
No, you're not. Specialist services do not require. It's within financial regulations. Specialist service for an architect, etc., does not require it, but it does have to show value for money effectively. And I have gone to other architects
to be fair, we did go to a couple
to check the costs.
Let me make myself clear, because I did a lot of work, but I was badly treated by the council, or rather a member. So I'm not communicating, giving you ideas how you should do it, because I had donated all the feedback to the council, and even then not a word was mentioned into the community that I did this, and I didn't get any credit. So anyway, so you decide, Chairman, whatever you want to do. I won't communicate my architectural professional advice.
Can I say something? Without having a earmarked budget in isolation, I think this whole process starting is not very, very credible. Starting the whole process without knowing from 200 to 400,000 ultimate cost.
Well, yes, I agree with you, but you've got to start somewhere with the plans and drawings, and we do need to set aside a budget of what we want to. So first stage is the design process. How much do we want to commit to that at this stage?
Have we all agreed that we want this? It was an idea. It's one of the ones which again, it's just like an idea, and I think we all. I think it was previously at the previous meeting was agreed we wanted to explore it and agreed.
Well, it was previously agreed we wanted to consider it, and this is us considering it now. If that answers your question.
It's in a vacuum of information, and also if it's toilet, is it a health and safety issue in the toilet? That it's not appropriate.
It's not very pleasant.
So that's an optional extra. We are within health and safety.
No, we could actually do the toilets up, and because it's something which is needed.
Yeah.
The chapel is something
extra.
Should be liked.
It's optional.
So you know that's a different thing. So it's different between need and like.
Yeah.
With that, so I mean,
my suggestion is to, at this stage, it's not getting us much further, but my suggestion is to kind of go back to the architect and have a bit more of a discussion with him. Maybe I'll sit down with you, Mark, and we call him and just have a run through.
By all means, yeah.
Yeah.
Is any councillor at any point going to have any proper recorded and adequate data and feedback from residents as to how many and if residents do actually want this? There are 4,000 houses in Chigwell. This is a lot of our money being spent here, proposed to be spent, and I haven't seen anyone apart from a general sort of, oh yes, people have said they want it. Someone said at and I can understand that the toilet facility is not being great. There might be, but the chapel is very expensive.
I take that.
And again, there needs to be a business plan. How is this being paid for? And we know it's been paid for by us, but how is it going to be maintained and operated? And how
But that again.
What you've got? You're going to need risk management and a business plan before you can make this decision as to whether or not you can build a chapel there. And you need to look as well whether
any
you're
payment
prepared to pay for it.
If I could just interject, I know we do have a situation here, and I've sort of resigned myself to it, where we have members of the public participating in the meeting, and that's not what we're supposed to be doing. However, we did have the opportunity during the items of terms of reference of including members of the public, but the committee saw fit not to do that. But at the same time, we're including a member of the public in our deliberations. It's nonsense.
Fine.
That's all I have to say, Chairman.
Fine. On this, I'm going to sit down with Mark and speak to the architect and just discuss through, because I think there needs to be a bit more of a brief on this in terms of what he's exactly going to do.
Chairman, okay, this is not a professional advice, but it's a discussion that is taking place whether we need this chapel or not. Chigwell Cemetery has been there for a long time. I mean, I haven't got a date. If anybody knows, perhaps can tell us. And the so-called waiting room, when that facility was added, outdoor waiting room, so that people can assemble together, wait in case there is a inclement weather, and at least there is a shelter, and they can have a cup of tea and something. Anyway, that was the whole purpose. So nobody in 2011, I can say, at that time, no brief was given to me, or I did not there was no discussion of that kind that a chapel is needed. If chapel wasn't needed for many years, what kind of demand exists today?
In 2016 there was a report that was written, I don't actually have it with me, and it was about our cemetery and the needs of the population and what they'd done a lot of research on it, and I will bring this as well. And again, there was nothing in that. It's literally just somebody saying, oh, it's a now, and that is it. I think our very first and foremost thing is making sure that our facilities that we have are up to date and that they're acceptable.
So the fee for that on its own is 5,750. Is that correct?
The toilet
Well, that's why I'm not quite sure. That's why I want to break it down with him.
So that I totally agree. If it's something that needs to be done that's not acceptable at the moment, I think that needs to be looked at.
I agree.
And that's what we can ask him. The rest is literally kind of
wish list.
It's a wish list
when we
that.
have money.
So let's address the basics.
Yeah.
So
Toilet.
That's what I'd like to
So
see that.
do we want to put forward that for 1 and 2 essentially we're going forward with to full council?
Yeah.
We happy with that?
Yeah.
So that's the
1 and 2.
24-hour toilet facilities and renovation
the
of existing toilets.
Yes.
And
Okay.
the rest is up for discussion.
And then
Rest is when we grow up and have
Oh,
money.
there's more. You're about halfway through this.
and I have to pick my son up.
Chairman, if you just look just above your gavel there, there's images of
The road.
the road.
Stay for this bit and then.
Yeah.
Mark, do you want to give the update on the road?
Well, again, it's the chairman's request that we looked at repairing the road. We've got some photographs there.
Which road is it?
The approach road.
From Manor Road into the cemetery itself.
Oh, okay.
Dangerous.
In quite a few areas, there's got significant subsidence, which has been getting worse over the years. There's a spot split between some of the concrete slabs that's opened up with some quite sharp corners. So it's something that needs to be looked at and repaired. So to that end, a number of companies were approached that specialise in dealing with those sorts of road surfaces. The quotes are before you. Again, it's not for the resurfacing of the whole road, or the whole lane.
It's just for that part.
Really serious areas where the subsidence and the cracking has taken place. And the three quotes are slightly different in that the one that's out of question, I think for 49,000, purely for a company that only dig out the existing concrete and put the whole new concrete slabs back in. The other two, which are obviously far lower, are very similar method of repair where they cut out the damaged pieces, prepare the circuit, prepare the foundations, etc. And it's then a tarmac-like finish. It's not concrete, so it's effectively patching it up, but it is a repair for the really problematic.
And I see number 2, which is 9.3, comes with a 10-year guarantee. Is that something you're recommending it?
Well, I've got no recommendation as such. They're very similar quotes for the two companies to do exactly the same sort of job. I suppose one has got a 10-year guarantee that comes out, the other's got a 2-year. So I suppose in a sense, the 10-year one is
for the extra
makes more sense.
£100 or £200. The work needs to be done. I'm assuming there's no official money in the budget for it again.
Well, again, it's the beginning of last year. Roads, the repair of the lane was never raised as an issue, so there was no specific money put aside for that. So it would have to be a decision the council make to dip into one of the earmarked reserves of the money that's sitting there for projects, which is.
And it has to come to full council again.
Yeah. Do we want to send it? I think we agree that
it
is
getting dangerous here now.
It needs to be
to
done.
review that.
So is our suggestion we go? Well, I'm suggesting we go with number 2 with a 10-year guarantee.
With a 10 years guarantee.
Coast and counties, and we recommend that to full council.
Yeah.
Well, again, that's purely there for their approval of the spend.
Yeah.
Because it's over 5,000.
But yeah, 2 for their approval.
So that's going to be on the full council agenda for tomorrow. Yep.
Yeah.
Great.
Fine. All right. That's fine.
Yeah, I've got to go. I've got to put my son up.
Fine. We'll defer the shelter there
I
to
have some
next.
questions, Mark, on that anyway, so if I can follow up with you.
Fine.
Can I just ask one thing about the road going into the cemetery? Is it possible also to look at maybe incorporating, as we were looking to alternative transport, to see if we can have some sort of cycle access through there as well? And start to have, because the parish own obviously that cemetery land, it's the ideal opportunity to start to build a safe cycle route round through the cemetery and to the bridge going over the railway and then back into Chigwell from Grangehill Station.
That's something we can look at. I don't know whether it's on that.
And on the actual road itself, it can be fairly simple now.
A future proofing.
Have we maybe at a neighbourhood planning level that can be raised?
That sounds
Because that's the appropriate.
Yeah, there isn't any neighbourhood plan.
No, there's a neighbourhood
plan. Yeah,
neighbourhood
something that's slightly
plan
different.
subcommittee.
That's something different.
I'm so sorry.
All right, no, fine.
Oh, you're giving me a chance.
I have to leave at 9.
Fine.
Right, Chairman, just so that you're aware, no one else can leave the meeting. I will have to.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
That's why. Crack on. So you make a note of Selena's point about looking for the.
Well, I'll put it as your suggestion because obviously, as I mentioned earlier.
Well, no, you can have a comment from a member of the public.
No.
Request.
Questions from the public.
Yeah.
My question is it possible to future-proof it for a cycle route?
Okay, fine. I'll fine. Probably.
Fine. So that was number 12. 13, environment report. I know we've covered some of this. And obviously,
the mower was back, fully repaired from the last time. Took over a week's use before the belts have gone again. It's not powerful enough. And discussions we're going to have with Ernest and they've given us a demonstrator to have a look at a more powerful and far more suitable machine for our requirements.
No cost to us?
No, that's still to be. We're still looking at that. It's such early days. That have to be considered in terms of as an alternative machine.
Fine. My only comment is on that. What we've had it cannot be considered fit for purpose.
No, it's just not. It's not power. It's not.
So it's broken 6 times in the last 2 years, something like that.
I think if they try and even come back and charge us for this, we can't accept that.
There's no cost. It's too early at this stage to even know what the options are going to be. So I'm waiting for them to come back to me.
Fine. All right. Well, keep us updated.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the mower we're leasing, which keeps breaking down. But that's historic now. How long have we got left on this lease?
It's a 5-year lease.
How many
contract lease? So we've had 18 months.
I just want to add, Chairman, that when the matter of a new mower was first considered by the Environment Committee, at that time the proposal was to purchase a new mower. However, the council went against the recommendation of the committee and decided that a lease would be a more prudent approach. Consequently, this is where we are today.
That's the problem.
For a maintenance purpose and upgrade.
The problem is, I've got no problem with the leasing. The problem is, it didn't come with a maintenance package.
Oh.
So that's the issue with it. So that is what it is. We're in with this lease, and we've just got to fight our case that it's not fit for purpose at the moment. But keep us updated on that. CCTV.
CCTV fully functioning here. Chigwell Road clearly is not compliant with all current regulations. So I've had someone have a look at it just to give me an idea of what can be done to make it compliant, basically, given the circumstances and the environment. And I'm waiting for that report to come back. Obviously, it'll be brought back to council for a decision as to what can be done, basically, and how much it would cost to maintain CCTV if that is the decision you want to make.
Fine. So there's nothing to consider and approve at this stage.
Not at this stage. No.
Fine. The shelter areas.
There's actually 2 CCTV related matters there. It had been mentioned by members of the problem of in crime and the rest of it, which is why they thought of the possibility of the parish council installing Grange Hill CCTV. Now, at the moment, I think this was tried some time ago, some years ago, and the idea then was to ask the various businesses in Grange Hill for some sort of contribution towards the installation of that service. Apparently, to my understanding, is that the take-up on that was roughly 50-50. So the parish council decided not to go for it. However, this idea has regenerated itself. I think Councillor Lyon was quite keen for that. Now, we have no CCTV there at the moment. So if the council sees fit to do that, we're going to be starting from scratch.
Well, again, we can't. Can we not get some rough quote or some quotes to understand what the implications are or what the costings would be to install it? Say we found somewhere to house it or locations. How can?
But simply installing CCTV, there has to be somebody monitoring it, somebody managing it.
Well,
who will be doing it?
Chigwell Village for the Brook Parade, is it in here?
Yes, at the moment.
It's not monitored. We can't monitor.
But we have recordings and it's got signs up. So.
And if footage is required or something needs to be searched, it can be searched. But we don't monitor it because you need an SIA
approved person to do it.
Chigwell Row CCTV, there was a need to look at the footage a couple of times, and
Mark's just said Mark's.
It's not compliant because the recorder sits in someone's private garage. It just can't. It can't.
No, but it can't sit in somebody's private garage. It has to be locked up.
So can't we take it out and put it?
I think it's in the post office. Isn't it near the post
office?
office?
No, it's a resident's garage.
How did that get?
Before all our times. So
but that's
the situation with that Chigwell. I would never obviously, but that's the situation that was approved.
It's no longer running, is it? Or
I don't know.
It's not
no one ever
compliant.
gets to look at it. No,
so
that's
why
the whole point. That's why we have.
So that's what I'm saying. To even have a discussion around CCTV, first we need to understand what is our responsibility, what compliance level are we looking at, are we capable and competent to manage that compliance level, and then have a discussion. Because we're just starting from 100 when we haven't worked out 1 to 99.
Well, actually, that's not entirely true, because at the moment we manage and run CCTV for Brook Parade.
Yeah.
Okay. We've had an inspection from the health and safety consultant working on behalf of Firehouse, who's aware of that. Okay. And there's documentation to be considered later on. But the thing is that in terms of our engaging CCTV, we're doing that at the moment. We're just not doing that at these locations.
Yeah. So
the matter to be considered
for those locations, it will be starting from zero.
Sorry, the matter to be considered is this committee willing to pursue engaging CCTV systems in these locations? That's the decision.
I think the answer is yes, but we need costings.
Precisely, I think what you'll find is when I get the report back in terms of what can be done to make sure it's compliant, fully compliant. If you want Chigwell Road to have CCTV, inevitably there will be a budget required. It will have a cost to put matters right. I think it's fair to say at that stage, the committee will have to make a decision. Yes, we're prepared to pay that much to keep CCTV at Chigwell Road, or no, we're not. Let's take it out because.
Exactly. But can we not? The person who's looking into that, can we not expand that to Grange Hill to provide a costing for that as well?
Well, I think Grange Hill's more complicated because then you need to know is there a demand for it. You've got to know where it's going to go. At the moment, we've got some CCTV at Chigwell Road. It has to be dealt with. It cannot be left as it is. So we have to do something about that.
Can we at least take it out from the garage, write to the resident and say, look, can we take out the facilities from your garage?
Well, no. Sorry. The decision to be made is: do we want to continue or have CCTV at Chigwell Road?
Well, no,
that's the first fundamental.
No, but that's not the decision at this stage. We can't until we got the report back to know what needs to be done.
I think
at the moment, we have a legal situation. Yeah. The first decision is: what are you going to do to stop breaking the law?
But
then do you want to move on and get a proper CCTV?
But then I'm just kind of.
How many cameras are there?
But with Chigwell Road, what I'm not quite understanding here is if it's in someone's garage, how is it almost our responsibility?
Because we've installed it and put it there.
The origins of how this happened are obviously lost and missed at times. I've no idea. This was before my time, before Tony's time. As to how it was agreed and put in.
Maybe it's not even working.
We actually found out about it when the resident contacted us and said, I've still got your CCTV in my garage. I've just moved in. I bought the house, and I'm told it's still here.
Well, I think we need to just get it out.
Just get it out, then we'll decide what to do with it.
And if he's happy to have his camera on there, that's another story.
I don't know. Okay, fine.
Yeah, no.
So the decision we're making is we're dismantling the CCTV in Chigwell Road.
No. You're misunderstanding. Let me spell it out.
Okay.
There is a camera and a machine inside somebody's garage.
Yes.
That needs to be removed and put it in a safe place
where
there is no access of public to play, replay, send it on WhatsApp or whatever, to a safe and a place where it is legally Correct.
Now,
We'll put it
it's
downstairs in our
physically
stores
not possible
here.
at the moment, there isn't anyway.
What?
So, to make things simple, the decision I would suggest is to make sure we're no longer non-compliant. We simply switch it off.
Yeah.
Until we've got an option as to how you want it to be able to continue properly there. So at the moment, it's not a question, you can't just take it out and put it somewhere else.
No, but my
There is
point.
somewhere else for it to go.
But Mark, the problem is if we just switch it off, surely
And something
Maisie
happened
could
in
just
the
switch it
meantime.
back on and use it for whatever it
Or
is.
remove the DVR, however you want to do
Yeah,
it.
I think it needs to be removed at the moment.
Compliant until we've got a
What's-
decision as to how you can go forward legally.
Exactly. Fine. Exactly that. That's exactly what I think we were suggesting around the house.
So we're removing the equipment.
yes,
Only
Yes.
the DVR.
disabling
Just
it.
so
Yes.
just so it's no longer
Until we're compliant, until we've got the report back to know how we can be compliant and what we need to do. Surely we can have the box here and the camera just on.
I don't know if
It's
what's the range.
one.
It's always on the range.
Yeah, I've got no idea.
And
it's a very old system which is wired, so
then it's
Yeah,
not possible.
it's not going to work.
No.
Fine.
It's not
Fine,
possible.
alright. So that's we're moving on from that.
And Grange Hill.
Well, great. Well, I think the starting point.
Range is erection of new system, isn't it?
Yes.
We number one, we need to consult with Councillor Lyon, who's been doing the research on this, to find out
The research is he suggested that we should consider it.
on what
That's the only
basis.
research he's done because there's a lot of crime in the area.
How that's.
And I think he did mention illegal parking.
So, alright, fine. So
Whose
then,
responsibility is parking? Parish?
County Council
North Essex Parking Partnership.
or County Council.
County Council.
Okay.
So
And crime is whose
again,
responsibility?
we have what essentially we're considering whether we go out and look at the options, the costings.
Okay, so we get a quote for costings. to
Yeah,
consider.
so that's got to be a starting point, and then
do we want to consider that there is evidence that it's required? I mean, is
In
there
a-
crime and antisocial behaviour of sufficient volume to merit that, and is it the sort of thing that's going to stop it?
well, again, I know that we want to, but that will form part of the business plan going forward. In terms of, so we need a costing, and then we need to provide evidence that it's actually required, and that's something which I have to pick up with Councillor Lyons and Councillor Barnes.
Freeholders prepared to allow us to put it
Yeah.
up.
There's got to be a local, yeah.
Sorts of complications.
Are there no police CCTVs around? London is riddled with
Yeah,
it.
well, there's London and there's London boroughs.
I can't imagine that of this
Well,
half a mile without a
Yeah,
CCTV.
Yeah, no, they haven't. They've got the aim.
No, I'll do the research. No way.
So you've got that down.
Yes, Chairman. We've got all that down. Yeah.
15. Matters to be brought forward to the next committee. We've picked a few up, I think.
Yeah, CCTV, shelter, etc., etc.
Fine. Date of the next meeting. What are you suggesting?
Well, we've got finance on the 12th at the moment at 7:30. So the next planning committee meeting, which is the 28th, we could have it after that. Now, my experience is that the planning season is more or less over. I mean, I know the next planning meeting has four applications, so the likelihood there's going to be in excess of 10 at that planning. In my experience, it's unlikely. Probably about 8 tops.
Well, I'm probably not going to be able to make it, but
What, the 28th?
yeah.
Okay. Well, it's up to this.
But
committee.
if
Bearing in mind there are only 3 members of this committee here
left,
left. Oh, okay. So there's going to be one more going.
no, I meant that there was more here tonight.
Okay. Right. Okay.
28. Were you happy? I may be able to attend, but is that okay for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Put it in for the 28th.
28th
Subject
at
to
8.
snow.
Yeah, hopefully November we should still be alright. And then, obviously on the... So wait a minute, what day have we got the lights? Is that the 30th?
Yeah.
So Saturday. Can we do it?
No, the date of the lights is the 29th.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, I was thinking it was a Friday. Oh, Friday
Yeah.
night. So it's the next day.
That thing said 30th.
Yeah. That's
No, that's the one from last year.
Oh,
okay.
right, okay.
Fine. All right, that's done. So number 17. Sorry, Selena. Exclusion of public press. Yeah.
Just quickly, on what grounds is it you've probably considered that it's...
Well, it's up for the committee to determine whether this is confidential.
Okay. Determine whether it's confidential or not. You've got grounds.
So why have you put them on confidential?
I've put it because it's the consideration of a contract, it's personal matters, and it's staffing matters.
So,
but it's not consideration in terms of tender. You're not looking at preparing a tender document.
It's a result of a tender, isn't it?
As the agenda states, it's for the committee to determine whether this matter should be heard confidentially.
well, no, yeah, but what
If the committee sees fit to hear this particular matter or any of those matters listed as confidential,
well, no,
publicly,
but
it's entirely up to them.
No, but it's not because well, it is. But my point is, obviously, you put these on there. There's got to be a valid reason why they're on there. So I just want to clarify that they are on there for a valid reason. And
Well,
if you're advising us that we should exclude the public, then we've got to go on your advice.
There's my advice, which is why they're on blue paper. But it is the committee's determination whether that matter is considered confidential, as it clearly states.
Anthony, you're missing the point here, though. You're the clerk. You put it on there.
Exactly. Yeah.
You have to
Yes,
advise.
I have put it on
actually
there.
Councillors are the only people who can legally decide whether or not the public can be excluded. The Parliament can't.
No.
No.
Sorry, so but we act on your advice.
So the advice provided it that consider it as confidential.
Yeah.
However, we can choose not to take his advice.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, put it this way: I could have put the Christmas shop window as confidential, right? But ultimately,
I fully.
He's the advisor, so he's just providing the advice.
So, councillors,
yeah, it needs to be considered confidential.
I think we go confidential because on the advice of the.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
I will take that, and if it's useful, I can send councillors details of what information is properly considered confidential when you're looking at spending public money. Okay, you might find that useful for decisions in future. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you.
Management meeting of 31st of October 2019.